Tapped in, tuned in, turned all the way on. This ain't just a vibe, it's a freaky bomb. Ms.Blue in the building, Oracle flow, cracking codes of the cosmos. Now you already know. Yeah. Ride the wave, feel the light. It's frequency love tonight. Ms.Blue gon' take you higher, burning truth with sacred fire. This is soul talk, rebirth from the womb. Say it with me, I can alter my course at any time. Yeah. Tap in, turn on. Your higher self already logged in. There comes a moment when who you've been can no longer hold who you've become. You don't need another sign. You don't need another permission. You don't need to know every step. You only need enough courage to honor what you are. Shifted before the world could see. I stopped asking for permission to become what's calling me. All the walls I thought surrounding me were stories in my mind there. Every time I chose beyond the fear, I left another one behind. Exactly where it ends. I have walked with my higher self long enough to trust again. What is called doesn't need explaining. What is mine can recognize me. I stopped asking life to prove itself and change my frequency. I can feel it, I can feel it. Something opening inside. I can feel it, I can feel it. No more places left to hide. I don't need to chase tomorrow. I am present, I am free. The life that I am calling in is responding back to me. I remember who I am, higher from the inside. I'm becoming all I can. No more fear between me and the life I came to live. Everything is opening when I open up within. Expansion, I remember me. Expansion, I remember me. Expansion, I remember me. It's all about frequency. Higher within me, power within me, knowing within me. It's all about frequency. It's all about frequency. I can stand inside the mystery without needing to control. I don't have to know tomorrow when today I know my soul. I can bless a door that's closing without begging it to stay. Some endings aren't rejection, they're expansion making way. I don't chase what has released me. I don't shrink to make it fit. If I've outgrown the old vibration, I can lovingly honor it. I can love who I have been without becoming her again. There's another world available every time I choose within. Feel it, I can feel it. Something opening inside. I can feel it, I can feel it. Like I've come back home tonight. I don't need the world to tell me who I'm finally free to be. I changed what I was I used to think higher meant somewhere else. Another dimension, another place, another version of me. But higher was never somewhere I had to go.
Higher was deeper,
deeper into truth, deeper into love, deeper into knowing,
deeper into me.
I didn't have to escape the world. I had to stop letting fear create mine.
Fear can speak, but fear cannot choose. The mind can question, but the mind does not rule. I can feel it
without becoming it.
I can see it
without believing it.
I can hear the fear
and still choose me. When fear was leading,
I gave my power away.
When I started waking up,
I could see another way.
And now
I choose.
Say it again.
I choose.
Again.
I choose.
Again.
I choose.
I remember
who I am.
Higher, higher
From the inside.
becoming
all I can.
No more fear between me and the life I came to live. Everything is opening when I open up within. I am standing in my power.
I am present.
I am present in this hour. What is mine can recognize me. I don't have to chase a thing. I became the frequency of everything I came to be.
I came to be. I came
It's all about frequency.
I came to be.
I remember me. It's all about frequency. It's all about frequency. It's all about frequency. Remember me. I remember me. I don't chase it, I become it. I don't wait for it, I align with it. I don't ask permission, I choose it. And every time I choose beyond fear, I expand.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Happy born day to all of the Leos in the building. Want to say happy born day to everybody who's celebrating a birthday. Welcome to everyone on in. Happy Friday. Happy Venus Day. And just want to welcome everybody on into the blue room here. I am Ms.Blue, the Soulful Oracle. Listen, I kind of contemplated whether or not I was actually going to be coming on right now. Oh, okay. You was just talking to Brother Rich about me and I popped up. Okay, well, yeah. Always here for Brother Rich, doing amazing work. But listen, I just want to welcome you guys on in. I really, really wanted to come on and share some things with you guys because I know you all are feeling it. I'm sure you all are in the thick of it, as they say right now. But I want to do this. I definitely want to welcome you all in. I want to make sure, am I coming through clear? Because I kind of been playing around with some things over here and I want to make sure that the sound is clear. So you all let me know if y'all getting a little distortion. I hear somebody telling me my voice sounds a little bit more galactic today. I kind of did a little bit of tweaking over here on the audio side and I've been kind of going a little more galactic today. So you may be picking that up. But anywho, welcome on in. I am so glad to have you guys here. I'm going to do my best in honor of the brothers because I've been getting these comments from the brothers. I'm going to try to get to the point and not just be all over the place. You understand? But I just want to welcome you guys in. Let me get y'all together here. Queenie said, yeah, facts, in the thick of it. Listen, Well, we're definitely going to have to fix that in the thick of it, kind of thing there. We definitely are in the thick of it, but I want us to get some deeper understandings. I'm going to tell you all a little bit about my day, but I just want to welcome you all in. So, just glad that you all are here and welcome you all in. And it sounds a bit distant, so it's not clear. So you guys can't hear me. It sounds a little bit distant. See if we can turn it up just a little bit. See if that's a little better. Let me know, because I have been playing around with the sound here a little bit. Is that better? Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. Super amplified. I don't know if that's a good thing. I don't know if that's a good thing. But let me know. Let me know if that's a little better or not. And yeah, I want to make sure it's very clear. Okay, thank you. Well, first of all, let me say this. I really wasn't going to come on tonight, but I had to. It's a bit echoey. Okay, let's see if this fixes it. Tell me if this is any better. Let me know if this is any better. For those of you who are into the audio stuff, then you know what it is. I had sort of like a lifter or like a booster on it. But honestly, I think that's where the static was coming from. I really think I burnt it out. Uh, I think I burnt that. I think I burnt that portion of it out. And so it was time for me to do something a little different. Do something a little different there. So we're going to get into it tonight. So this is better. Yes, is perfect. Okay. Okay, you guys, I got lip gloss everywhere. All kinds of stuff is happening now. Like I told you guys, I definitely, okay, that's better. Perfect. I wasn't sure if I was going to come on tonight, but I had the most incredible, amazing, testing day. If I can put all of those things into one moment, that's what happened today. I actually had to go in for my yearly checkup and I had to get some blood work done. And so when I went to the lab, I noticed there was a lot of people there, but it seemed like everything was moving pretty fast. There was this little boy there. He was there with his mother and his father. And, me and him kind of played and laughed and talked a little bit because I had a lot of time. And because where I was inside of the building, I couldn't get a signal out. So I was really left with my thoughts. And at first, I kind of was disappointed because I actually wanted to go back and I wanted to hear an old remix show that I did probably 2000, gosh, like 2010, 2011. And I had it all queued up and I was going to play it. And so when I got inside, I couldn't get no signal, no Wi-Fi, no nothing. It was just like I was in a void, just in a void. And if you've ever been in a building and you go into a spot where you can't get any kind of communication, any kind of signal, and it was a void. And I was sitting there, and as I was waiting, because it clearly was going to be a very long time before they called me, I really started going over some notes and just really kind of allowing a flow of consciousness just to come down and just write. I just was writing. I just was writing out things because I didn't have access to anything. And, that was a strange kind of feeling. It was a good feeling in a way, but it was kind of strange to have no way to have any kind of communication. You know what I'm talking about? You said I had a mammogram today and it was packed and I was having issues trying to watch stuff because of the signal as well. So you know exactly what I'm talking about. And, you know, I just sat there and I just allowed just whatever was coming in to come in, which I take time to do that every day. But it's a little different when you sort of prepare yourself to be in that sort of meditative state and when you're sort of placed there. Because even though it was quiet and there was nothing I could do on my device, there was lots of conversations going on and people around me. So I did what I did best. And I just listened and read their energy. And boy, was it some energy in the collective today. It was a lot of energy in the collective today. And I picked up so many things, and I could tell that people were really feeling this energy of the eclipse. Not to mention all of the sessions this week. By the way, shouts out to you guys for really doing the work. Like it really shows. And I know you all can tell that. No matter where you are on your journey, you can tell that you are really, really growing in a profound way. And so this is going to bring me to this because, you know, we just did that whole I'm in the middle, in between show, what to do, 8 things to do before the eclipse. And if you all haven't listened to that, I want to encourage you to go back, and I want to encourage you to go back and listen to it because it's some really, really good information. We have some more days, exactly 7 more days till we get to the eclipse. And yeah, let's talk about it because there's a lot of confusion about what is happening. But I want to mention this to you guys. This is not my official introduction, but I want to show you something. I want you to look at this gorgeous and juicy pyrite. And look at this tiger's eye. Isn't that gorgeous? And this citrine. I'm going to talk about it. These were sent to me by Otter Spirit. And I'm not going to get into that tonight, but I've been wearing this. This particular pack right here is the Abundance Pack, which this is a perfect window to be working with that energy. But I want to talk about this in the eclipse. So first of all, I want to say welcome to everybody on in. Oh my goodness. Happy Friday. Happy Venus Day. Welcome to all the visionaries. Good. Welcome to all the visionaries in the building. Let's get those likes up. That really is going to let the soul family know that we are live. We are here. And if you want to become a visionary, because I call everyone in the blue room a visionary. And if you want to be a visionary, all you have to do is subscribe and hit that like button and join us here in the blue room with the soul family. So tonight we're going to be talking more about the eclipse season because there is a portion of this that I haven't heard too many people mention and talk about, but I'm sure we're all feeling it, right? I'm sure all of you are feeling it. And this was the download that I got. And I want to just kind of fine tune a little bit more about the eclipse. And so we're going to get into some conversing here today. Good morning, good night, good afternoon, good evening. Let's ping the show out so we can send it out. So if you know somebody who might be interested in this information, you ping them, tell them to come on over, grab a pen, something to write with, because I want you to take down all of your downloads, like whatever you're getting, whatever you're picking up. It may, sort of spark something inside of you. And I want you to remember that. You guys have been doing amazing on the comment section, sharing the live, passing it on. And I am truly so grateful for that. So we're going to have this conversation with you here. Good morning, good night, good afternoon, good evening, because I think this is incredibly important before we move into this lunar eclipse on the 28th, right? And this is going to be a little different talk than probably we've had in a while, I would say. Because we're going to be talking about the eclipse and we're going to be talking about emotions. I'm going to be talking about multisensory abilities, as well as I'm going to be diving in and talking about psychic impressions. And one of the other things we're going to talk about is not too many things that I talk about in this way on this platform, but we're going to talk about it here tonight. We're going to talk about manifestation because we're in one of the largest windows of manifestation that we have had in quite some while. It's been a while since this window has been this wide and this open. So you're going to want to take notes, not necessarily on what I'm saying, because you can always come back and you can always listen to what I'm saying, but take notes on some of the things that I'm saying that is sparking something inside of you, because you will be getting downloads during this show. Matter of fact, every single person who hears this show, because of the way that I have curated the frequency and the energy here that is available with us, you will get a DNA upgrade, and you will get clarity on that DNA upgrade within 72 hours. So I want you to write that down. So pay very close attention to the things that are coming to your awareness and your consciousness, even how you're feeling inside of your body and what's happening inside. And then you'll be able to come back and you'll be able to let me know, how that unfolded for you. But really, underneath it all, what we're really going to be talking about is identity. And I want you to put that in the chat, identity, because this is key. We cannot miss this point here, right? Right now, I don't think the bigger question is, what are we trying to manifest? That's not really what we're tapped into right now. And that's not even where we're going to get the biggest kind of explosion in our consciousness for, if that be the case. But really, the bigger question is, who are you becoming? And I need to say that you are being someone right now, and you are becoming. There is an opportunity to become. I try not to use that word often. Some people think that we are always becoming. No, we're not. Sometimes in most of our states of awareness, we are being. We are being. We are being. We're in our beingness. But this is an opportunity for us to begin to question, who are you becoming? And then we're going to go even deeper than that. Who have you been calling yourself, right? That you are no longer willing to be. And as we stand in the precipice of this energy that we're in right now, I don't care where you are on your spiritual journey. I don't care if you consider yourself an adept. I don't care if you've been doing this for 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 years. If you feel like you're an old soul that came back to teach the new souls, whoever you are, I'm telling you, this energy is available for you. So you don't want to miss it, right? Who have you been calling yourself that you are no longer willing to be? And sometimes that calling is not something we say out of our mouths. Sometimes that calling comes through in our actions. It comes through in our connections. It comes through in what we say yes to, how we say no. It comes through in those things that we feel that we're still struggling, those areas of our lives where we're struggling at. So I want you to think about that, because I truly believe that there's a moment in all of our lives where we're not simply being asked to change our circumstances. And that's real important. I remember when I kind of pondered that question and just kind of flirted with it a little bit, like, wait a minute, we're not being called to change our circumstances. No, I feel that we're being initiated into another level of understanding ourselves. And that's even more powerful, because changing your circumstances is almost like where my sister's at. It's like changing your hairstyle. Brothers, it's like changing your clothes. That don't really do nothing. Yeah, you can change your hairstyle, but that ain't really changing everything. You can change some things around. Just think about it this way. If you purchase a brand new house, or if you move, because some of you just recently moved into a new location. You moved into a new location. Imagine if you took everything that was old out of your old location and put it in your new location. Did you really move? Did you really move? Did you really change anything? Did you? I want you to think about that. We're being initiated into another level of understanding ourselves. And I'm going to dive deeper into that. I know some of y'all is like, what you talking about, Miss Blue? But I want you to know that's exactly what's happening right now. So I've been getting emails, text messages, DMs, all kinds of things, right? Of people telling me how emotional they have been and really don't even know where these emotions are really coming from. Some know exactly where these emotions are coming from. Lots of old memories are coming up. Lots of people from the past bumping into them at the gas station, at the grocery store, while you're out and about, online. All of a sudden, boop, you like, oh no, what you doing on my timeline? You don't come over here. You don't like my stuff. What you resharing my stuff for? You don't do that. But all of these things are coming up for a reason. Old memories, people from the past, right? Having strange dreams. People are having a lot of dreams. I got several emails of people having dreams with fruit and food in their dreams. All kinds of bananas and strawberries and blueberries. People are writing me about dreams and fruit and food being in very odd places. All of this means something. If one of the things that you might find yourself, and you all let me know in chat if you can relate, where you're starting to see people differently. You're starting to see people completely different, right? You're starting to see yourself differently. Like, I got up this morning, got ready to get dressed because I knew I had to go get all this lab work done, and looked at myself in the mirror, and I really seen myself different. Still me, but different. It was a different kind of energy looking back at me, a different kind of vibe I could feel. Different. Could see myself differently. It was more energetic, not aesthetic. Just energetically, the presence, completely different, And those kinds of things should happen for us from time to time. Not often, but from time to time. The other thing that happens is your intuition stronger. And doing this work for the short period of time of 20 plus years and watching my intuition grow stronger and stronger and stronger over time was something that was so profound. And even yet today, I am in awe of how much stronger my intuition is getting. It really is quite humbling because it allows me to see that no matter how well I think I am, I don't really know anything. And there's so much more to learn. So much more. So much more to learn, right? Here's another thing. If you have been questioning your relationships, if you've been questioning your friendships, questioning your work, questioning your purpose or even questioning your direction, questioning your connections, your soul groups, the people you're around, and just questioning these things. Yeah. Here's something I want us all to do, because we're in a very highly volatile window right now. And soon we will see this playing out in the world even more. And so I want to do my best to give us all this reminder so we don't become a part of the problem. Because what's happening right now, people are emotionally dumping, emotionally lashing out, because so much is coming up and they don't know what to do with it. But here's what I want us to do. Don't immediately assume something has gone wrong. I just want you to take that with you. Do not just assume something has gone wrong, right? Because the truth could be maybe something is finally becoming visible that you were clueless to. And we can be clueless to a lot of things in our life, and all of a sudden, things can become very clear. You know that song, I can see clearly now. The rain is gone. You're seeing clear. And this is what we're going to talk about. But we're going to get more into more of the occult meaning of the eclipse. We have talked about sort of the energetic meaning of the eclipse, the physical meaning of the eclipse. But I want to talk about and get a little deeper into the occult understanding of the eclipse, because then a lot more things that many are not talking about is going to start making a lot more sense. A lot more sense. So let me say this. During the eclipse, we know what happens. The earth literally moves between the sun and the moon. The earth's actual shadow falls across the moon, right? That's the astronomy. But when we start to look at it from an occult point of view and occult teachings, they have always, and our ancestors have always looked at the cosmic sky or the heavens in another kind of way. So, not only as a sky, but as a, what can I say, like a symbol of consciousness. Because what is actually happening within the consciousness within our spiritual vessels is actually a reflection of the consciousness that's happening in the sky. That is the true meaning of as above, so below. Meaning that what is happening up there is also happening in here. It's just going to look completely different. So we're going to flirt with this symbolism for just a moment. We know the sun itself, it represents illumination. It represents consciousness. It is the spirit. It is the essence of self. So that is the sun. It is the pure essence of yourself. And then when we start to take a look at the moon represents subconscious, the unconscious. That's what the moon is. The moon is the collective. You understand? The moon is the memory, emotions, instincts. It is receptivity. It is the inner world, right? Put on blast. That's what the moon is. And then when we talk about Earth, it's so many things that I could say, but looking at it from more of an occult point of view, Earth is the embodiment. That's how you know you came here to embody who you are. Earth is that representation. It is the representation of a spiritual being in the existence of a human experiment. That's what it is, right? So I want you to think about all of that together when we think about the eclipse. This is about bills. This is about relationship. This is about our bodies. It's about jobs, right? It's about our family. It's about history. It is about the collective. Everything we're actually living through down here. I want you to know that. So think about the symbolism of the lunar eclipse. Just think about that for a moment. Earth comes between the source of the illumination of the moon. So you got Earth, right? It comes in the middle between the sun and between the moon. And I want you to hear that, but not just with your physical ears, with your higher self. I want you to hear this spiritually. So what happens when the eclipse comes, it becomes dark during this lunar time. But I want you to think about this. Light didn't disappear. The moon didn't disappear. Nothing got destroyed. Absolutely nothing got destroyed, but something temporarily moved between the light and the receiver. And that's a key point. Between the light and the receiver, something came in the middle. Listen, that's life. The eclipse is giving us a symbolic representation of what is happening in life. There is going to be a temporary disruption between light, and we are light beings, and the receiver, where we're receiving from source, the light. Now, this is life all day. When this happened, this eclipse, because this is not a one-time event. You can have your own eclipse and it's not eclipse season. I want y'all to hear that. And when it does, your higher self hasn't stopped talking. Your multisensory abilities didn't go anywhere. Your magic hasn't disappeared. Something has simply moved between you and your ability so that you can perceive correctly and clearly. I need y'all to get this. Let me know if you got it. Let me know, okay? When these things are going on in your life and you feel like your magic is off, you feel like you can't tap in to your higher self. You can't hear that. Your intuition is not accurate. Things are not lining up for you. It's because something has simply moved between you and your ability to perceive clearly, right? So now let's talk about what could get between you and your higher self and your multisensory abilities, right? Number one, fear. Fear can do that. When fear is at play, fear will get in between your light and your ability to receive higher insight, your intuition, and all of that. Fear can do that. What else can do that? Old memories can do that. And here's the gag. It don't even have to be a trauma old memory. You ever see that person that is stuck in the past? Or if you yourself have had some situations in your life and you were so stuck in the past that you could not move yourself forward from the past. It's like that uncle or that gentleman on the corner that want to tell you he could have been a singer and he's singing. He just out there on the corner singing and singing. And you're looking at how he's dressed. You're looking at what he's wearing and you can see something has come in between his light and where he is. It's like that sister that keeps going back to that love she had when she was in high school. But the only reason it didn't go platinum was because they had to go to different colleges. And everything in her life, every relationship in her life, she compares to that one teen love relationship. Something has come in between the light and where they're moving. I want y'all to see this in a practical way, because sometimes we want to spiritual bypass and get stuck. So old memories can do that. That can come between your light and what's happening, right? Sometimes we do that with history. Sometimes we do that with the way the world was. I remember when I was growing up and my parents would tell me about all the things they used to do when they were growing up. We used to do this. We used to do that. We used to go outside. We used to do this. We used to have to walk to school. We used to have to do that. I'm like, oh my God. If I got to hear that one more time, if I have to hear the way it used to be, you understand? And with technology and so many things changing and shifting now, it's easy. It's easy to let that come between our light. I'm not saying we have to agree with everything, because I certainly don't, right? But we have to be careful that we're not letting the way the world used to be stand in between our light, because old memories can do that, right? And so we'd be better off to take our action and just do those things than really get stuck in the memory of it. Now, here's another thing that can do that as well, that can come between you and your ability to perceive clearly, and that is trauma. Anytime you've had trauma, that can get in the middle of your ability to perceive things clearly. And it's so important, because what's happening during this eclipse season and in this window, we are not seeing things clearly. Things are not as they appear. It's kind of like when you first learn how to drive and you look in the rear view mirror, and they used to have that little sticker on there and say, objects are closer than they appear. You understand? Or objects are further away than they appear. I don't know about y'all, but that used to just scare me, especially when I had to parallel park, or I had to back up. I'm looking in the mirror. It looks like I'm very close to something. And guess what? Not close at all. So I want you to think about that. Trauma can do that. Another thing that can actually do that, and that is desire. I know it can get a little tricky. Desire can move in between. It can eclipse and move in between your ability to perceive things clearly, right? Now, here's another one. And I want us to pay very close attention to this one. Another person's opinion can eclipse your ass. Okay? It can eclipse you. It can get in between you and your ability to perceive things clearly. And so this is why we have to do our inner work, so we can distinguish between what we're hearing. Some people can't hear without becoming. They hear something and they automatically take it as the gospel. And this is why we were left something very, very great. And that was the work of the alchemists, because they weren't talking about just turning lead into gold or turning metals into gold. They were talking about an internal process that you must do on your own, so that you have a good understanding of self. This is why one of the greatest quests that our ancestors have left us is know thyself. But I want to tell you the biggest, and the one that I've seen across the board that really gets in between people's ability to perceive clearly, and that is your identity. And I want you to just kind of sit with that for a minute. Your identity. Who you believe yourself to be is going to be your biggest eclipse. That's it, your identity, right? And I want you to know this is a fact. Sometimes we're not seeing life as it is. We're just not. We're seeing life through who we've decided that we are. And I get it. I get it. A part of that is important. We have to decide who we are and understand that. But I want to talk about one of these occult principles that I name. Doing a lot of work in the occult realm, I had to find my own way of understanding some of these ancient principles and these ancient laws and governing ways of understanding ourselves. And this is a principle. I want to talk about this first principle. It's the principle of obscurity, right? Now, what this means, it means something becomes difficult to see clearly. And I want you to think about that. Obscurity, if I can talk correctly, obscurity. This is the first principle, the first occult principle I want to talk about. And this obscurity, where you're seeing something, you're perceiving something, but it's difficult to see it clearly, right? And I want you to think about this. I want you to think, well, let me say it this way. I think some of you need to understand this really before the eclipse, because I'm already seeing this happening a lot, a whole lot. And I even had to check myself on a portion of it for a while. So I think it's important for those of us who want to tap into this, right? Eclipse season does something. And I remember when I realized this, I was really trying to see what was happening because I could feel it inside of me. The sessions I was doing, I could hear it from the clients. I could see things happening in the world. What's happening right now, especially because we're having a lunar eclipse, we're able to see a depth of shadow that possibly we were not able to see before. So you can see all shadows in the world, shadows in yourself if you're brave enough, shadows in people around you. You're able to see shadows. And in fact, because we're in this portal, it's pulling the shadow first, right? Especially when you don't catch yourself and you're just kind of diddly daddling along and you look up and you see the cashier and instantly you could see the darkest aspect of that person. Now, you might have gone in that gas station, you might have gone in that grocery store 100 times, seen that cashier, never really noticed anything other than saying hi and being pleasant. But somehow now you can see their shadow. I want you to hold that because during this eclipse window, you're able to be able to see this very, very, very strong. And I want to tell you because this is the part that I don't hear many people talking about. And I want you to understand this is the purpose of the eclipse. The eclipse is here to bring you higher if you choose to go. Think about that. If you choose to go. Now, just because something enters a shadow, it doesn't mean that you have discovered the whole entire truth. So many times when I'm doing readings for people and I'm reading you guys' energy, I can see your shadow. I can see my shadow. I can see your shadow. Very early when I was doing readings, I was quick to bring that out because so much about spiritual work was about your shadow. And so we were like, yes, you got to get rid of the shadow. You got to do the shadow work. So I was telling people their shadow. And it was taking me longer and longer and longer. Now, granted, this only lasted about a year or two. Longer and longer and longer to bring that person back. And this is why now, when I teach, particularly when I'm teaching energy work, absolutely never, ever, 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 ever do I go in looking for the shadow. Because that information is not the ultimate truth. But right now on the planet, you are able to see the lowest of humanity. That is the purpose of the eclipse, because the eclipse is here. It is coming in to block the illumination. So only those who truly, truly can see will be able to find light. This is why you will have people emotionally devastated during this time. You will see people crashing out. You will see people getting what I like to call, and Brother Bobby Hemmett would call, they will get the God complex, feel like they're here to save the world, and they have discovered something the world doesn't know, and they really go on this high, this extra kind of high. It is because that is shadow too, that they're stuck in. I need you all to really hear me on this, right? So let me say it again. Just because something enters the shadow, doesn't mean that you have discovered the ultimate truth. When I'm doing a reading for people, I can read their thoughts. I can hear their thoughts. I know what they're saying. I know what they thought. I know how they feel. I can go back to past lives of how they feel, very early of how they feel. I'm not saying this as an arrogant point of view. I'm telling you the honest thing. You have so many thoughts during the day. Half of those thoughts you don't mean. How many times have you said something in your head, but you're saying it, but it's not truly what you mean. It's not even truly who you are. I need us to be on our spiritual maturity here so we can get this shit, because I'm telling you, a lot of folks on the planet is going to lose their way after this eclipse. We do this. Imagine if every thought you said about this person, that person, a stranger, this, that. I've said it in the car. I know one thing. If you hit me, oh, you gonna find out. You understand? We say these things. That's not the ultimate truth of what it is. That's not the ultimate truth. But during eclipse season, we get to see the lowest, the lowest. And trust me, this week doing readings, I was like, whoo, y'all better be glad I'm a little more mature. A little bit more mature. I'd be dripping fire on a lot of shit around here. You understand? Because when you see it, you're like, oh, I'm going to call this out. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And what are you thinking about me? I can tell you don't mean me no good. You're going through all of this. And I'm not saying some of it is not true. I'm just telling you right now, that is not the ultimate truth. What is being highlighted is what is being eclipsed, even inside of yourself. Some of you woke up 2 or 3 days ago thinking the whole damn world was against you and you got something to prove. That's not true. You're just able to see your own lowest energy. You understand? You're just able to see that. I wanted to do this because I know many people, you haven't been taught this. You don't know this. So I want to share this, and you take what resonates with you, right? Now, This is particularly important when we're talking about our multisensory abilities, which is also being heightened at this time. Heightened. I have received all kinds of emails from people all over the world in the last week or so that is telling me the corruption, the evil, the demons they're seeing, they're picking up in people. And I'm not saying that's not a real thing. I'm telling you, it's distorted. It's distorted at this time. It is not the ultimate truth. You understand? And I've been doing readings for people for many years, thousands upon thousands and thousands of people. And I primarily focus on the people. Do I have celebrity clientele? I do. I don't prioritize them. I am the oracle for this galaxy. I focus on the people, the real ones, the people here. I don't push that front and center. No shade to people who do. I'm just telling you where I prefer to work with us. So I want you to know I can hear things. I can see things. I can know things. I can pick up on somebody's fear. I can pick up on their anger. I can pick up on their insecurity. I can pick up on the thoughts they are having. I can pick up things they haven't even admitted to themselves, and you all have witnessed it. Because one of the things and another thing about me, I give full transparency in my work, and I'm not afraid to come on and do readings for hours and hours. In fact, I love to do it. I love to do it, right? I don't have to have you in a private one-on-one to tell you what I need to tell you. The reason I'm telling you this, here's what experience teaches you, and I'm sharing from my experience. What I perceive in somebody's field in one moment is not necessarily totally the totality of that being, of that human, of that spiritual being. That's not the essence of who they are. Now, sometimes that may not work in my favor because I tend to always see goodness in everyone because I know it is there for people. But a lot of times when we're reading people's feels, that is distorted. And what I'm telling you is at this time, it is very distorted because you're able to go into the darkness of it, not just in their energy and you perceiving it, but your own darkness is taking you in there. So what happens when darkness meets darkness? What do we get, right? That's important. So you might be perceiving a thought. You might be perceiving some sort of emotion or even a fear. This is why I told you guys, please go back and listen to the show, What to Do in Between Eclipse Season, because people are going to be taken into the depths of their soul. And a lot of people think that what it's telling them is that they're not supposed to be here anymore. And that's not what it's saying. It's telling you, you must give up this identity that you are holding on to. It is not serving you. It's asking you to release. It's asking you to let go. It's asking you to get out of who you believe yourself to be because it is blocking your light. But that gets distorted in our minds and we get overtaken by emotions, right? Possibilities, right? You might be perceiving something that's going on in your mind that's not even real. You done made up a whole story based off of something you perceived. And I want you to think about that. That doesn't automatically mean that spirit has handed a permanent definition of a person. Even when I'm doing readings for people, and I have done, I know, well over 1 million readings to this point, and people from all over the world and all backgrounds, all walks of life. That doesn't mean the person you met in that moment, that's permanent for them. And that goes for you too. So if you find yourself overwhelmed for what is happening in your life right now, or someone close to you that you love and they feel overwhelmed, you can let them hear this so they can understand that this is the time where this is coming up, right? You can have an ugly thought without being an ugly person. You can experience jealousy without jealousy being a part of your identity. You can feel fear without being a fearful person. I need you to hear me. You can be angry without anger being the truth of who you are, right? You can have a moment of doubt without you losing your whole faith and trust in yourself. Think of it this way. When I came up with shadow work, self-love is the new shadow work. It was because I seen so many people destroy themselves, destroy their lives, and cause so much collateral damage, all behind cloaking shadow work. Shadow is not an identity. Shadow is information. That's what the shadow is. It's only information. It is not a damn identity. And I see some of you right now falling into that trap that somehow you doing some shadow work and you done made it a part of your identity for however long you're choosing to have that identity. That's not it. Now I'm going to give you a very old occult word, and we're going to talk about this next one, and that is glamour. And I'm not talking about makeup, lashes, and y'all know I love a good lip gloss. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about that kind of glamour. There is a particular kind of esoteric teaching where glamour is described as a emotional veil. Think about that for a moment. Glamour is an emotional veil, something that sort of colors perception. You see something, but you're seeing it through an emotional filter. You're not seeing it clearly. And I want you to know that every single one of us has experienced glamour, where we are seeing something, but it is coded through perception. It's colored through a emotional filter. You're mad at somebody, and suddenly everything starts to get on your nerves. They breathe wrong. Now you're picking out they chew wrong. You don't like the way their voice sound. You don't like the way they say this word. You don't like the way they look. You don't like anything. You start to find all of this. This is how you know, because you start going down this rabbit hole and the spiral gets deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. Right. Mm-hmm. 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 They chew wrong. They text wrong. They don't know what they're talking about. They said this and that. They put a period at the end of okay. And then every time they do something, you're somewhere talking about, so did you catch that? Now, what did that mean? It didn't mean nothing. It didn't mean nothing. It absolutely didn't mean nothing. But because you're already emotionally activated, you are interpreting the information through glamour, which is an emotional filter, right? Now, here's where this becomes important for spiritually sensitive people, because I love this, this world we're in, and I love it when I meet someone for the first time and they tell me they're so empathic. They're spiritually sensitive. And, it's hard for them to be around people. They can't work. And when they doing stuff, it makes them, they got to do all this clearing, this cleansing, this clearing, this cleansing, this protection, and this breathing, this walking, this meditating, this, all of this, right? Now, we don't have time to talk about that, but really it is a misuse of power. But I want you to know feeling something strongly does not automatically make it multi-sensory or intuition or make it a part of your psychic abilities. Feelings and intuition and psychic abilities are not the same thing. It's not. I have so many people, right? So many people, when I'm teaching classes, I see them with the gas face. She don't know what she's talking about. Just because you felt something, that doesn't make it intuition. It is not the same as your emotions. Where my divine priestess at? Because what do I teach? Intuition first, then your feelings. Get out your damn feelings. Because that doesn't make it spiritual because you felt something. It's a very big difference. Now, I know I sit up here with my animated ass and I may make it look easy, but I promise you, I don't confuse the two, or you wouldn't even be over here listening to me. I would not have been able to do this work for 20 plus years, and people from way, way back telling me the reading you gave me changed my life. It put me on my course. You wouldn't be doing that. So don't confuse the two. Just because you felt something, that doesn't automatically make it intuition. And here's another thing. Intensity is not your proof of purchase, baby. Just because I felt it's so intense, Ms.Blue. Okay. Okay. I think that's one of the most important lessons in psychic development. We have to know that there is a very big difference. Your intuition is not the same as your feelings, even though you may feel something when you get an intuitive hit, but they're not the same. By the way, shouts out to the hit code. Shouts out to the hit code. That class is coming up, and to everyone who signed up. We'll talk about that a little later. All right, let's keep moving, because this is what I want you to know. When people first begin to start developing their intuition, I see this all the time. They sometimes think becoming more intuitive means that they're going to be certain about everything. They become the Messiah. They are all knowing. I tapped into my intuition. That means I know everything. I know everything. What I feel is real. Nothing will humble your ass more than thinking that. Nothing. Okay? So I actually think real development, it actually does almost the opposite. When I'm getting ready to go in for a reading, I'm fucking clueless. And I love it. In the beginning, I was scared to be clueless. I don't know. When I'm telling you something, it's not coming from me, Blue. That's not where it's coming from. I know I make it sound like it's coming from me, because that was a conversation I had with one of my soul body members, Edgar Casey, but it's not coming from me. It's not coming from me. That's not something I would have thought of, because half the stuff people tell me, I'm like, you did what? Listen, you're going to have to go get somebody else for that, because what is that? What is that? No, you got to go talk to somebody else about that. You understand? So it actually does the opposite. It puts you in a state, for me, of curiosity, of awareness, of real humanity. Real humanity. And when I say humanity, that means if you scratch me, I might bleed. If I scratch you, you gonna bleed too. That means that we have a likeness. That's how I think of humanity. That's humanity. If I walk my ass out in the middle of the street and a damn car is coming and I think I can float my ass by, no, that ain't gonna happen. The car gonna hit me. That's humanity. Okay, there are certain things that happens here in this dimension because we are in these physical bodies. We are also subject to the humanity of it, meaning there is a wholeness, a collectiveness of all of us together. And that's what humbles you. You're not better than anybody. You know, when we were growing up, my mother used to always tell us, listen, you are not, but you don't let nobody make you feel like you're beneath them. And she would stress that. She said, but at the same token, you're not better than anybody either. I don't care what you got. I don't care how we're living. You're not better than anybody, but you're not beneath anybody either. That's real humanity. So when I see people and I see the beginners who are just coming into this, they're saying, I felt it, and therefore it must be true. Because all throughout spirituality, and thank you for whoever gave me the thumbs down, because that matters too. They say, I felt it, so it must be true. So much of the teachings is only do what you feel or what feels good for you. That's a convoluted statement that needs to be decoded. Because if you only do what makes you feel good, look at your life. Most people are doing what they feel anyway. That's why their life is the way it is. They only want to feel good. Operative word, who determines what good feeling is to you? So if someone says you want to build that farm, you have to get up at 7 o'clock in the morning and you have to go out there and you have to work on it every single day for as long as you can. And you decide it doesn't feel good for me to go out there and do it. No problem. You just won't have your farm. So you could be doing it and maybe not technically feeling good in the moment, but you know what you're working towards feels good. I think sometimes we have made the mistake, like throughout history and in the spiritual community, conscious community, because I don't like using any of those words anymore, but y'all get what I'm saying? We have started to take things literal. I'm not doing it because it don't make me feel good. I don't want to go to work because it don't make me feel good. I don't want to be in this relationship. It no longer makes me feel good. And that's valid to a point, but you need to explore that. Because then they come back 6 months later. I'm homeless. I don't know what to do. Do you feel good? No, I don't feel good. See, that's what I was trying to tell you when you said you had to get out of there. You had to leave. So we have to make sure we are using our higher mind in understanding these very esoteric, but yet very simple understandings. You understand? There we go. So we're going to keep going. So when you have begun to start developing your intuition, your language change, your understanding change, and you move from I felt it, so it must be true, and it starts to go to I received something. Now, let me tap in to what actually I received. I can receive a hit that makes me extremely feel sad. But once I tap in deeper, that's not what it is at all. So there is a difference. That's a big difference. Information is not the same as interpretation. And this is what I want to stress, especially while we're in this window of the eclipse. Information is not the same as interpretation. You see, I want to be very careful. I want us all to be very careful over the next several days. And we have to separate information from interpretation. So here's an example. You walk into a room and suddenly you feel uncomfortable. That's information. But then all of a sudden, that mind, the matrix, the false matrix, where it lives, where we feed it, it interprets it. Everybody in here hates you. Everybody in here hates you. They've been talking about you before you brought your ass to work. They can't stand you. Right? That's interpretation. Crazy. You dream about somebody you haven't seen in 10 years. That's information. Then you say, Spirit told me they're my soulmate and they're going to come back and they're going to be with me on Thursday. I haven't thought about them in 10 years. And I know they're still in love with me because Spirit told me that is my true soulmate. I don't care what happened in the relationship. I don't care what happened. I know by Thursday they're going to come back. Really? 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 Right? You suddenly think about somebody and all of a sudden you start to feel sad. That's information. Then you decide, oh my gosh, something terrible has happened. Ms.Blue, I'm praying for you. I'm sending you so much love. Thank you. Yeah. I want you to know psychic impressions can be legit. While the story you attach to it, that shit could be wild and crazy. And I done heard some wild and crazy stories about people who say they done got a psychic impression or download on something that is so far from the damn truth, right? That's why we have to tap into our higher mind and have discernment, right? The clearer the channel becomes, the less the oracle needs to establish the message. When I get a clear hit, y'all know it. It's clear. You ain't got to go make up some fantasy or some message, right? You don't have to add 20 paragraphs to what Spirit gave you. You're just going to give it. You understand? You just give it. Sometimes Spirit gives your ass a sentence and it's called leave it alone. Just leave it alone. Trust me. And when I get that, I leave it alone. When Spirit said, Leave that alone. Leave them alone. Leave it alone. It's done. It's finished. It's complete. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. Now, we're going to talk about this one. We're almost done. Wow, almost 300 of you guys here. Thank you for hitting that like button. Really helps a girl out. Now, this is important. This brings me to something I want you to remember. How can I say this? Do not divine from an active state. And I'm going to tell you what that means. Don't try to do some sort of divination. Take a download literal. If you're furious, if you're scared, if you are obsessed with something, if you're desperate for an answer, desperate for an answer. Back in the day when I used to have the phone lines, people would call in, they'd be like, you're the 20th reader that I've asked this question and nobody has been able to answer this question for me. And I done been to 20 different, I done been to the best of 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 them. And nobody has been able to tell me anything. So Ms.Blue, I want you to tell me whatever you want me to know. And I would say with my She Drips Fire, I don't want to tell you shit. Nothing. What do you mean what I want to tell you? I don't want to tell you nothing. What makes you think I want to tell you anything? Now, if you have a question, you can ask me. But as far as what I want to tell you, why do I want to tell you anything? Why would anyone want to just come out of their happy space, find your ass, and tell you something? This is why I always say, and I teach, but people do what they want. I don't give nobody a reading that don't ask for one. None. You can't take responsibility for you. I'm not taking your karma. I don't want to tell you anything. What do you mean? I have other things I could be doing with my precious time than just wanting to tell you something. I say that to you because you need to be not in an active state to do readings. And sometimes people do that. If you're furious, if you're terrified, if you're obsessed with something, you're desperate for an answer, or you absolutely need to hear a yes. That's why y'all on wore pendulums out. Not this new generation. I'm talking about the ones that came up with me. We wore the pendulum out. That's why most of us psychic and mediums, we terrified to bring a pendulum out. Because y'all just hold the pendulum and you make the pendulum say what you want it to say. Well, I pulled my pendulum out and it said yes. Yeah, because that's what you... Listen, the pendulum is only reciting what your higher self is telling it to recite. And if you don't know how to separate the two, you just playing with yourself. You are playing with yourself, probably in the worst way. At least the other way, it make you feel a little good. You playing with yourself in the worst way. So don't do it when you just need to hear a yes. Don't do it when you absolutely need to hear a no. If you're looking for confirmation of something you've already decided, I need you to pause. Just stop, drop, and roll. If you say, I've made a decision already, stop. And it has nothing to do with your intuition disappearing or being off, but because your emotional body is louder than the information you're trying to receive. See, we don't realize that our emotions are so powerful. it can change things in an instant. And if you've already made a decision, listen, your emotional body is going to show you what you want. That's glamour. That's glamour magic. Come on now. Y'all study the occult. That's glamour magic. It's the emotional veil that's in front of it. So you are hearing what you want to hear. And a lot of time, quiet as you kept, you're going to some of these readers and they telling you this crazy shit you want to hear. Your boyfriend is secretly staying up in the middle of the night, him and his new girlfriend, but he's only thinking about you. Shit. What kind of bamboozle foolery is that? Don't worry. It may be a year from now. Eventually, he's going to come back to you. What? What? No. No. No, 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 no. Right? No. You're welcome. Yeah, that pendulum got a lot of them stuck. But the divine priestess, they know. I taught this in the priestesshood, how you can use your pendulum and get yourself out the way. So you know you're not interfering with what is going on. I'm going to try to contain myself, but I'm not going to blame it on the eclipse. I'm not going to blame it on the eclipse. I ain't going to blame it on the eclipse. But listen, y'all know what I'm saying. That emotional body is strong. It's the way that we manifest things in our lives and we bring things there, but not in a delusional way. I don't want you to think that. Now, here's what you can do. You can write down what you felt. What did you feel? You can write down what you saw. You can write down what you dreamed. And then I want you to just back away from it. Leave it alone. Just back away. Leave it alone. Right? Come back to it when you're grounded. When you're grounded back in yourself. Because spiritual maturity is not needing to see a sign everywhere. I don't go around. I'm not in 24 communication with my spirit guides and ancestors and aliens and the council and the beings. Listen, I'm a goddess here. I have my own God body. I'm not using them for, should I go to the grocery store at 10 or 11? Should I leave or should I? No, I'm not going. No. Mm-mm. Love and Hip Hop Tarot. Yeah, it's a real thing. It's a real thing. You understand? And here's the other honest truth. Sometimes 222, and I don't want nobody coming for me. Sometimes 222 is the damn apartment number. And you are alive. The universe is letting you know you are alive and well. Everything doesn't have to become a prophecy. I get it. I get it. Yes, there are times in our lives when we're going through things and we need that extra little confirmation here and there. And I know most of you are to that place where you're not looking for every time something comes up, you're not reaching for all kinds of signs. But I need us to have this reminder here for us, right? Plus, I know we're seeing it out in these cosmic streets. Now, I want to get to this second principle. And this has to do with identification, which is a big one. The real work of this eclipse is your identity. And I want you to really, really hold on to this, right? The real work of this whole eclipse and the reason we have them so often, every so many years, every time it comes up, is so we can work on our identity. And here's why. Most manifestation teachings begin with, what do you want? What do you want to call in? What do you want to create? What do you want to manifest? But I want to look at this from more of an occult position, right? And this approach, because the questions that begin to ask is a little different. And so it's not, what do you want to call in or what do you want? It is, who is doing the wanting, right? And I need you all to sit with that. Who's doing the wanting? Is it Blue? Who is doing the wanting? Because you can say, I want abundance. But if underneath that desire, your identity that you're holding on to is, I'm someone who has never had enough. You are coming at it from a position of lack. And this is why most manifestation doesn't work for people, because we need to start approaching it. And how I approach it is from more of a occult perspective. Who's doing the wanting? And what is underneath that wanting? So you got to get to that. I am somebody who's never had enough, so now I want everything. Then even your desire for abundance, it begins to come through this lens of scarcity. You understand that? I want love, but then when we go a little deeper, you start to remember, I'm somebody that everybody leaves. Everybody who comes in my life, they leave. They're gone and they leave, right? I want my business to expand. But then underneath you say, nobody sees me. Nobody supports me. I have to struggle for everything I want. Remember all the signs in TJ Maxx and Ross that says the struggle is real? I want freedom. I just want to be free, Ms.Blue. But underneath, I don't trust myself to make a decision. Girl, you could have been free. Bro, you could have been free. You want to be free. You want to be free from the relationship. You want to be free from the job. You want to be free from this. You could have been free, but you don't trust yourself to make decisions. And this is where manifestation becomes so much deeper than just a vision board and some affirmations. That's why I don't do it that way. We got to really get into some unconscious programming and doing some actionable ritual steps. So when we start thinking about manifestation and we start talking about understanding what that means, it's like, how do I get what I want? That's not the right question. It is, who would I be if this was already natural for me? If this was already naturally me, who would I be? That's it. Who would I be? You understand? But a lot of times we play with our minds so much and we want to pretend that everything that we are doing is aligned in our favor and there's no such thing as a mistake. We got to get out of this bullshit. You can be spiritual and make some badass mistakes. And if you don't acknowledge where you make missteps at, if you don't acknowledge where you're doing something wrong in your life, you're spiritually bypassing yourself and you are having a damn eclipse 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You're going to keep eclipsing all the work you're putting in. You're going to go back and eclipse it, and you're going to find yourself in a cycle you can't get out, whether that's with the relationship, whether that's with your health, whether that's with your money, whether that's with the work you're doing, whether that's with the consistency and the joy in your life. You're going to stay stuck in that cycle. The people will change, the place will change, the number will change, the feelings will change, but it's all going to be the same because we play with our minds too much. So the first thing that I teach and the first thing that I say is stay out of that damn mind. That is the false matrix. It's the circle jerk. Thank you, Lola. The circle jerk. So we cannot play with ourselves. It's holding you back. You cannot sit there and do all of this shit and know you made some mistakes and turn around and say, nothing is a mistake. Oh, trust me, I was caught in the loop, but I quickly, like the book Who Moved the Cheese, figured out how to get out. Get out of that circle jerk. If you're not doing something logical, stay out of your mind. Stay out of your mind. You know, people would go around and say, what would you change? If you could change one thing, what would you change? I wouldn't change nothing because I wouldn't be the person I am today if I can't. That's a lie. That's a damn lie. I mean, I think back to the foolishness, and trust me, I was a part of it. I'm just giving y'all some food for thought. You understand? Listen. That's how you grow. You understand? So I want us to start thinking about a deeper question. Who would I be if this was already naturally me? Who are you when you're no longer identifying with scarcity? Who are you when you're no longer identifying with abandonment issues? Who are you when you're no longer identified with being overlooked? Who are you when you are no longer identifying with the struggle is real? Who are you? Who are you when you no longer need the manifestation to prove you're worthy? I used to play around with manifestation like that. And then I thought, why do I need to manifest something? The truth is, we're manifesting all the time. We just don't know what we're manifesting. So when it's showing up, we're trying to figure out where this shit come from. Oh, you manifested it. Why would I do that? Because you're unconscious of what you're really feeding into. That's why consciousness and awareness is key. So we're almost done. I want you to think about it because here's another one. Here's another occult concept. It's invocation. We love that word, don't we? Invocation. To invoke something is to call it forward. We are invoking. We are in an invocation. We are invoking, right? And I want you to begin to listen to the way that you talk about yourself. How do you speak about yourself? I'm talking about your real self, not your delusional self, your real self. I'm talking about how you really feel about you. Are these kind of things coming up? I'm just bad with money. I'm just no good with money. That's an invocation. Relationships never work for me. That's an invocation. Nobody ever supports me. That's an invocation. I've always had bad luck. That's the invocation. Every time I get around people, they drain my energy. That's an invocation. I get so anxious when I'm in public. That's an invocation. I just can't trust these females out here. That's an invocation. These brothers don't do nothing but lie and cheat. That's an invocation. Every time something good happens, every time something goes wrong, it's an invocation. Yeah, that part. Now, I'm not saying some cosmic police officer is sitting there in the sky punishing you because you said the wrong sentence. That's not what I'm teaching you. And that's not what I'm teaching. I don't teach that. That's not what I'm telling you. I'm saying every time you repeat those things, what you do, you are strengthening that relationship with the identity of who you are. You are strengthening that within your identity. Your mind hears you. Your behaviors begin to organize around it. Expectations begin to start organizing around it. You'll be willing to tolerate things that happen around it because you're constantly saying it. You start to tolerate those things. And eventually you start mistaking a repeated story for your permanent self. Now, this is who you are. This is who you are. You have become this. This is who you are. This is who you are. You done said it enough. You done told the story about what your mama did to you enough, what your daddy did to you enough, what happened to you enough. That's why in my Kim deck, do I have my Kim deck here? If somebody has my Kim deck here, I need you to pull out a card. I need you to pull out card number 4. Get a new story. I had to get a new story. I had to stop telling that same story about me being kidnapped. Da 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 da. I had to stop telling that because it became a part of my identity. It became a part of how I interacted with people. It became a part of how I trusted myself. It became a part of what I let my children do and not do. It became a part of who became my friend and who wasn't my friend. You understand? It became a part of where I worked and where I didn't work. It became a part of controlling my life. So when you say something to me, I need you to teach a night class in corporate America, and I'm not getting out of there till 9 o'clock. I can't go for that. I can't go for that. No, you don't know who I am? Let me tell you my story. I can't be out here in these streets by myself. Are you crazy? Barely can get out here in the daytime. You talking about come out at night? Oh, no. So I want you to think about what are those things that you are saying about yourself that has become your identity as a part of your permanent self. Now you can't separate from it. You can't separate from it. Why do I always make people uncomfortable when I'm around? Shit, because you uncomfortable. That's why. That's why it's happening. You are thinking uncomfortable thoughts. Now you're uncomfortable. You're the only one uncomfortable. Ain't nobody else uncomfortable, right? So when we do this, these eclipse things is happening to us. So here is an eclipse question, all right? What have I been evoking every time that I say I am? I am sick of this job. I'm sick of this shit. You know how you say it? What is it? Because I am, we know how powerful that is. We're not going into that lesson. Not because it's a magic trick, but it does have power, right? But when you say I am, you are declaring your identity. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Your identity. Now, we can understand right now why emotions are so important. So instead of treating your emotions like something we need to get rid of, we need to raise our frequency. Y'all gonna keep hearing me say that. I was saying that before. That was a popular word yet again on the planet. Raise our frequency. I want you to become curious. I'm curious about your loving. I'm curious. I gotta listen to that song when I get off of here. But I want you to become curious about it all. This is one of the things that I've carried with me, and it has carried me so far, is to become curious. because emotions can show you where your identity is attached to something. If you want to know what your identity is attached to, be curious. When someone doesn't call you back, you become irritable and upset. Okay. Before you make them a villain, what identity just got touched? Y'all remember that show, Touched by an Angel? Well, we gonna get touched by an identity. I want you to think about what identity just got touched, right? When someone doesn't call you back, when they don't respond back to your messages or your emails, what happens? Underneath that emotion, I'm the one who people leads. All kinds of things. When someone else's business takes off and they selling out and people are cheering for them or raving for them and you see them winning and you start to feel that jealousy, don't immediately shame yourself for saying, I'm not spiritual enough because I felt jealousy. Don't do that. Don't do that. You're going to miss the goodness here. Look underneath it. See where that jealousy has touched you. Is it there's not enough room for me? It's going to tell you where you need to go do your work. Now you found something, right? Or maybe someone disagrees with you and you become furious. Get curious. Get curious. And over the years, my God, I had to get real curious with y'all when y'all disagreed with me, right? You get curious. And underneath, what is it that you're feeling? If people don't agree with me, I'm not safe. You understand? I'm not safe because there was a lot of times that I was seeing things, knowing things, understanding it, telling my parents and people around me, and they didn't agree with me. And I didn't feel safe. And especially when something bad happened afterwards, I became very much unsafe. So we're using this so we can really get in and do that shadow work through self-love. Self-love doesn't mean you just skip through it and say it's okay. It means you don't destroy yourself in the process of getting to the core of what's really going on. Do you see what we're doing? You understand? We're not judging the emotion. We're using the emotion as information. Remember what I told you guys. Shadow is information. Shadow is not your identity. It's information. And some of y'all got a whole lot of damn information. Yeah, that y'all need to do something with. Now, let's go to the third occult principle. We're almost done here. Ooh, let's get those likes up. We got more than 300 likes. Let's get those likes up. Want to invite you to get those likes up. If you found anything here that made you stay longer than a minute, go ahead and give a like. And if you really want to be a part of the collective here, then go ahead and subscribe and turn on that notification bell. It really will help the channel out and it will show your support for me and all of us that are here. So I'm grateful for you. Let's go to the third one. Across many different traditions, and I know many of you know this as well, transformation is symbolized by movement through darkness, You understand? And that's going to bring us to initiation. And when we start talking about initiation, that means something ends. And we see this through all traditions. They take you through this, what we're calling transformation is symbolized by you moving through some period of some sort of darkness. Darkness, right? Something ends. There's a in between. There's a period of where you're coming into uncertainty. You're uncertain. And then something emerges out of the uncertainty that is different. That's why symbolically you will hear it being spoke about as the death and the rebirth appearing in so many different spiritual traditions. It is the death and the rebirth. And what happens during this time of lunar eclipse, a lot of people take that literal, and it's not literal. So we got to stop taking things literal. Transformation requires that you stop feeding something before you can fully live. So something has to stop being fed. False matrix, the mind. You have to stop listening to your mind because we feed the false matrix through our mind, through our conscious mind. And the unconscious will hold on to the patterns. And you have to stop feeding the false matrix. So in order for transformation it is required for us to stop feeding something before something else can fully live. You understand? Now listen, y'all keep trying to manifest the resurrection while refusing the damn tomb, and you can't have it both ways. You understand? Everybody want to talk about the resurrection, but they refuse the tomb. You got to get your ass in that tomb. Why do you think they talk about Jesus risen from the dead? You have to go through the whole process. Something has to stop being fed before something else can live. But you want everything. You want to keep everything. You don't want to let nothing go. If you want your new life, but you keep feeding your old identity, you can't, it's not going to go together. It's not going to go together. You keep feeding your old identity, but you want new relationships. How that's going to work, right? How is that going to work? But every morning you wake up and you rehearse the identity of the person who always gets abandoned. I'm just thinking about it. You want abundance, but scarcity is still the first story you tell about yourself. You think it's cute to tell people how broke you are. That ain't cute. You want visibility, but you still hiding. You in the shadows. You hiding, but you want visibility. Can't have it. You want your gifts to expand, but you still asking everybody outside yourself for permission to trust what you say you already know. If you know it, what you keep asking about it for? At some point, something has to stop reaching and receiving your life force. It has to. You got to stop feeding it. That's the tomb. That's the tomb. Not punishment, not destruction, not tear your whole life down and cause collateral damage with your children and your communities you're a part of and your friendships, and not that kind of dumb shit. No, that's child's play in the worst way, right? It's about withdrawing of energy. I am no longer feeding the version of myself that is causing this. That's the spiritual maturity that has to go along with it. It's eclipse season. I'ma stop. I ain't talking to them. I ain't doing it. I ain't doing it. Ain't doing it. Ain't doing this. Ain't doing that. Ain't doing this. Ain't doing. Sound like you rapping. We just need to put a beat behind you. Only for you to go through this another 6 months later. We right back in the same spot. We don't want to do that anymore. We don't want to spin our wheels in the wrong place. We don't want to do that. And I want to acknowledge the brother. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat donation. Thank you. Theolopolis. Y'all knew I was going to tear that name up. Y'all knew I was going to tear it up. No, I got it right. We ain't tearing it up. Right. So this is why manifestation is so powerful. It's so powerful here. So when I say this is a powerful manifestation period, as I talked about in the beginning, I'm not telling you to sit down and make some gigantic damn earthly shopping list for the universe. That's not what I'm telling you. I want you to manifest your identity. Listen at me. I want you to manifest your identity. So instead of, I want $100,000, I want you to begin to start asking, who am I when abundance is no longer feeling like it's something foreign to me? Who am I? Who am I? Who am I when I don't even have to look at my bank account? I can feel rich. I'm rich. You understand? I know I'm rich. Who am I? That's what I want. So instead of nobody, I want somebody to love me. Anybody, Ms.Blue. I'll take anybody to love me. Right? I want you to begin to ask, who am I when reciprocal love feels normal? Reciprocal love. Who am I? Instead of, I want somebody to love me. That's a very big difference. And still, instead of waiting on Mr. or Mrs. Right, that's the question. Who am I when reciprocal love feels normal? Leave you alone. Yes, you know? And so instead of, I want my business to become successful, you can begin to start to question, who am I when I stop wanting or waiting to be discovered? Okay, make yourself successful. If I would have waited on somebody, it would have never happened, ever happened, right? Let's go to the next one. I want to become more intuitive. I hear this a lot. Instead of asking that question or manifesting that question, who am I when I trust myself enough to receive information without turning it into fear? That part. Fear is running rampant on the planet. Rampant. It is the greatest disease that is corrupting everything that it touches. And quiet as it's kept, it is contagious. Fear. People are out here scaring the bejeebies out of you. I thought about it as a joke coming on one night to scare the shit out of y'all, tell y'all something. But it's not in me. It's not in me to do it. I spent most of my life in fear. And I ain't never going back. Ain't never going back. And it doesn't mean that sometimes I don't get scared, because there's a difference between being scared than living in fear. Because fear, living in fear, I guarantee you 99.9% of you listening to me right now, your environment and what is happening to you, there is no real fear. Now, there are some people I recognize on this planet that are living in circumstances and situations where fear is real. So this is why I don't say to people false evidence appearing real, because there are some people who are living in real fear. But if you're here, listen, come close, and you're listening to me, Ms.Blue, your ass ain't one of them. Because a person in real fear, they ain't got time for none of this, baby. None of this. So I just want to make that clear. So it's not that fear ain't real. It's okay. Fear is real. You understand? But what we talking about, no, that ain't real. That ain't real. If you're here, you're not in fear. That's false evidence. False evidence appearing real. Real. And it's the greatest currency right now on the planet. Not even joy. This is the greatest currency, fear. Because if I can get you to be afraid of yourself, afraid of the world, it'll slow your ass down. Nothing will zap your intuition, your intuitive abilities, your creativity abilities, and baby, your mind than fear. Fear is taking your ass faster than the government. That's what's taking you out fast. It ain't that person. It ain't that group. It ain't what they doing. It ain't the food. It ain't the water. It's not the medicine. It's not the war. It's fear. Because fear have you losing your mind. Fear make you think you can fly. I'm just saying. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Now, so when I am trusting myself enough to receive information without immediately turning it into fear, you got to watch it when someone say, you got to be careful of that. You better watch out for that. You better stop doing that. Now, it doesn't mean that sometimes it's not real, because sometimes that's a real thing. But that's not the kind of fear I'm talking about. Because one thing is for sure, two things about it. People on planet Earth love playing with their mind. And that's the hardest thing to get back. Once you lose your mind, it's a wrap. It's a wrap, baby. It's a wrap. Don't play with it. Don't play with it. Don't play with it. Because once you lose it, sometimes you'll never get it back. And I think everybody here know a few people who done lost it and can never get it back. I've helped a few get it back, but it's been a struggle, a big struggle. Some of them will never come back in this dimension, ever. So, enough said. Enough said, right? Don't play with it. Don't play with it. And here's the other thing I want you to know. When you can receive information without it immediately turning into fear, you're on a different level of manifestation, right? And this is a game changer, because you're not merely trying to pull something towards you. 1111. You're not merely trying to pull something towards you. You are becoming capable of holding what you're actually asking for. Everything you want is here. You've got to raise your frequency to just be in alignment with your own vibration. That's the gag. You're really not pulling anything to you. If you can want it, it's already there. You're just not in alignment with it. Right? So, So this is how I want you to think about August the 28th, right? Not as something that's going to happen, not some kind of fear that's coming towards you, not as that, not as, oh my God, the eclipse, what's going to happen? I don't want you. I want you to think of it like a initiatory, like a chamber, like you're coming into an initiation chamber, right? Symbolically, remember we talked about this. The moon is going to enter into shadow. And so instead of panicking about what the shadow is going to reveal, because it's going to show you something. Some of you are being shown something right now, but we might not be listening, okay? I want you to just observe what's going on. That's what I want. And begin to start asking yourself the question, what am I feeling? What am I remembering? What keeps triggering me? And what am I suddenly able to see so clear now, right? And what relationships look different? You know, when you start to think about it, what relationships look completely different? And what desires keep returning to me? Maybe you let that go. Maybe you thought this was not possible for you. But what honestly and authentically keeps returning to you? And what part of myself am I tired of performing? Like just acting, putting on, just out here acting. That's what we say in my family. You acting. You just acting. You that ain't real. You acting. You understand? And what identity has become too small for me? So what part of yourself have you stayed in the shadows with that's become too small for you, And most importantly, I want you to really think about this. What am I ready to stop feeding? What are you ready to stop feeding? Don't worry, I'm going to give you guys a practice that you can do. And I want you to think about that question. What am I ready to stop feeding? Because maybe you're not supposed to fix your old identity. You're not supposed to fix it. Just maybe you're supposed to finish it. Maybe you're supposed to just finish it. Maybe you're supposed to step on the other side of this eclipse as the brand new you. I don't know about y'all, but I'm already in that space. Can y'all feel me? I'm already in that space. And I look forward to even more of being in that space. I want to give you your weekend practice because I know y'all are real visionary magic makers here, right? We're universal citizens. By the way, shouts out to everybody who received the Universal Citizen Award that I gave out. What year was that? 2023, 4? I don't remember. But anyway. So between now and the eclipse, I want you to do something. Now, this is something my guides gave me. So simple, so simple, but yet very powerful. So don't slip. If this work was easy, everybody would be doing it. People dismiss it. Oh, that's beneath me. I'm past all that. Okay, I hear you. Let's go. So you ready? You're going to get out a piece of paper. This is what you're going to do. For those of you who have been with me for a long time, you remember thoughts and things. That might have been way over 20 years ago. You're going to get out a piece of paper. You're going to fold it in half just like this. Y'all see that? I like to use blank paper so nobody don't tell me to stay in my lane. But you can use what you want. Get a piece of paper. You're going to fold it in half. Right? You're going to fold it on half. You're going to create two sides. On one side, you're going to write the identity I am withdrawing my energy from, preferably on this side, like the right side. And on the other side, you're going to write the identity I am embodying, right? Do y'all need me to give y'all an example of what that looked like? Y'all want me to write it out for you? I will. I can't spell though. So it's going to be a minute. No, that's facts. That ain't me talking about myself. That's facts. Hold on. Almost done. So you're going to do it just like this. So on one side, you're going to write the identity I am withdrawing my energy from. And on the other side, you're going to write the, y'all just getting a whole class tonight, huh? Identity I am, I'll put that pretty big, embodying. Yeah. All right. So it's going to look like that. You got two halves of the paper. You're going to write on there one side, the identity I am withdrawing my energy from, and on the other side, the identity I am embodying, right? Now, don't just write things. I want you to write the identity, not I want money. No, no, no. You're going to write this. I am someone who knows how to receive, how to manage, how to respect, and how to expand my resources. You're going to write it all out. Not I want a relationship. No, we're not doing that. I am someone for whom healthy, reciprocal love, baby, that's normal. Okay? That's normal. That ain't nothing special. That's normal. Yeah. Yeah, Lola, you remember this from Self-Invested Workshop. And so I want to be more psychic. No, no, no. I am someone who trusts my multisensory perception while remaining grounded and discerning, right? Not, I want people to see me. No, no, no. I am someone who allows myself to be visible. And then I need you to feel the difference. Okay? Feel the difference. Feel the difference. You was just saying, I want money. Yeah. We're going to do that, right? You're going to feel the difference. One is asking life to change. Here's the difference. And the other one is changing your relationship with life. Because remember, life is going to life. So there you go. So you're going to write what you are withdrawing your energy from. And then on this side, you're going to write the identity you are embodying. And I'm going to tell you before we close out what to do with that when you're done. Now, here we go. Here we go. Now, what to do with strong emotions this weekend? If you start to feel, and I guarantee you, you probably will feel some emotions come up this weekend, I don't want you to panic. I don't want you to immediately start making decisions. And don't call something some sort of major download prophecy. Don't do that. And don't immediately decide that you done wasted your time and you went back. That's that Generation X handwriting. It must be. Even though I took calligraphy in school, but yeah, so this is not you going backwards. I want you to begin to start asking, what is this showing me? And I know that could be hard. I know that can be hard sometimes in certain situations, but just go within and say, okay, what is this showing me? And then, is this an emotion I'm experiencing or an identity I am choosing? Okay? Because it's different. Was I a horse in my past life? See, that could be quite triggering. I almost said, was your mama? Was your mama a horse in a past life? I'm just asking because that's what it's given. It's given that. It's really given that. Yeah, it's given that in the most wonderful way. So we ain't got to wait for the weekend. It's here. It's here. You go ask me, was I a horse in a past life? Yeah. I don't know. I might have been a horse in a past life, but usually they say we don't come back looking like the animal we were. We don't come back looking like the animal we were. But given the fact that you can't show yourself, then we're going to leave it at that. We're going to leave it at that. I'm sorry. I couldn't resist. I couldn't resist, you guys. So let me get back on track about the emotions this weekend. I was supposed to go within. No, no. Was your mama a horse in a past life? I don't know. I mean, if you think I was a horse in a past life and that's doing something for you because somebody told me that before, I want you to let it keep riding you out, baby. Let it keep riding you out. You almost choked. Let it keep riding you out. One thing about it, being spiritual don't mean we weak, and you ain't finna sit and play in my face because there's a big difference, okay? You in my house right now. So we got different kind of rules over here. Now, I suggest, unless you want to have to go find you another name to hide up under, because I do know who you are, that you kind of settle yourself down. Or you're going to have to find you another YouTube account. You're going to have to get you another name, okay? Or we could just tell people who you are and we could call it a buck. But let's keep going. Oh my goodness. Okay, so here we go. What was this showing me? This is showing me that Ms.Blue, you ain't got to sit up here and take this foolishness no more. For years, I took the fuckery. And guess what it's showing me? I don't have to anymore. I don't have to act like I'm perfect. I don't have to act like nothing is bothering me. I don't have to sit up here and ignore you. I don't have to do that. So it is showing me that I need to truly, authentically be me. That's what it's telling me. And there you have it. That's what it's showing me. Yeah. Is this an emotion that I'm experiencing or old identity I am choosing? See how y'all like this real-time magic? This is honestly not an emotion I am choosing. I no longer choose the emotion because the old Blue would sit right here and just let all that shit just keep flying by and never say a word until it got overwhelming. And then one person would say one small thing and I would be on that one person. No longer. See, my daddy taught me sometimes you got to check they ass at the door. And I didn't get that lesson, but I think I'm getting it right now. So what this is showing me right now is when you come out of pocket, and yes, you was coming out of pocket because we're not talking about that. You come out of pocket and I'm right here, I can come out of pocket too. I don't have to be belligerent. Looking like a horse is not a bad thing, by the way. It's the fact that I already can tell you was out of pocket. And that wasn't my feelings telling me you were out of pocket. Because like I said, that ain't that. But this is to let you know I know who you are. I do. I do. I really do. And it ain't a game. Now, we can go for broke if you want. And I'll expose you tonight because I'm really tired. I'm tired of it. All right. Let's keep going. So that's what it was showing me, right? Now, when you answer these next questions, is this an emotion I'm experiencing or an identity that I that I am choosing because I feel rejected? Is different from I am rejected. I'm afraid. Is different from I'm unsafe. I'm unsafe. I feel jealous is different from I am a jealous person. Or I have sat back and let people talk out the side of their neck to me and not said a word and carried it to no, we're not carrying it no more. So I received a uncomfortable impression about somebody is different from now I know everything about who the person is. That is true. But I'm telling y'all, I know who this person is. And only because technology is letting me know who the person is, not because I'm not using anything. I'm fully present, right? So don't turn a temporary information into a permanent identity unless it wants to be turned into one. Okay? Right. So here we go. So I love it. Thank you. Thank you. I'm still the Soulful Oracle. Yes. I'm not gonna worry about coming out of character. It's okay. I can never come out of character. Not anymore. I think before I was out of character, I would try to handle things offline in the back rooms, in the dark rooms, underneath the closet, in the floors, in different cities, in different states. I'm not doing that no more. You bring it to me here, we gonna handle the shit right here. You do it public, we gonna handle it public. That's how that work. That's how that work. Okay? Be advised. That's how that work. Now, here's the deepest question. So we're going to stay on track. We're going to stay on track. Thank you guys. I'm glad y'all have my back. I don't think it was that serious, but it needed to be said and I needed to be challenged with it tonight. Cuz see, it's been said multiple times before and I let it slide. And I had to ask myself, why am I not addressing this? Why am I not saying something about this? And this is the time I said something. You notice the person is ghost. They're gone. Or they came back under their name. They're ghost. Yeah, they're gone. So here we go. Here we go. So we're going to talk about the deeper question, and that is, when we start thinking about manifestation during this eclipse, we know it's not simply about what can I get, but it's deeper than that because the eclipse is an opportunity to take something temporary, raise the frequency and vibration, and make it permanent. Right? And sometimes we treat manifestation, yeah, we got to pause. Manifestation like it's temporary. You know, it's kind of like we do it when we need something. Why can't that be our natural state of being? What identity must I stop feeding so that I can experience myself differently? I think this is the most powerful question we can ask ourselves. Thank you for that. This is the most powerful question during this window we can ask ourselves. It's one I've been asking myself for the last week. What identity must I stop feeding so I can experience myself different? Yeah. So think about it. Yeah. So I actually thank that person for coming in because I need to experience myself different. Yeah. Now, because you cannot create a completely different life while remaining loyal to an identity that only knows how to live the old life, you have to let it go. You have to let that go. And that's why some manifestations don't require more effort. It requires less allegiance to your old self. But one thing I know for sure, this is why more than 20 years ago, I came up with Thoughts and Things. And I think that's one of my very first videos I have on YouTube here. And it is thoughts and things. I want you to think about it. Thoughts and things. Because in order for you to mine your thoughts, you must first know what you're thinking. So that's why I came up with the exercise my guides gave me, thoughts and things. Because if you don't write down what your thoughts are, and I banned that person. Clearly, they don't want to be here and they're already feeling the eclipse. So we're going to let them have their way because somehow they done fixated their whole life on me. And I just didn't think I was that important. not for you to come out your way to fixate your life on me. But I get it. I get it. So we're going to think about those thoughts and things. That's what we're going to think about, those thoughts and things. So, what identity must I stop feeding so that I can experience myself differently? I want you all to begin to start thinking about that, because you cannot create a completely different life. Let me get my thoughts together. While remaining loyal to the identity that only knows how to live the old life. Period. You cannot do that. You cannot. And that's why some manifestations don't want more energy. That's why you can't. It requires you to have less allegiance to your old life. I think you all get what I'm saying. So now, in closing, because we're almost to closing, the old you can't cross. It cannot cross the eclipse. So as we move towards August the 28th, and one of the things I know, and this goes back to the Brother Bobby Hemmett days, whenever you drop in something powerful, somebody will try to disrupt that. Something, like there's a force, and we don't have to put it into one person. We're going to put it into an energy, into a field, because they both exist. Has to show up. In most cases, will always show up. But the difference is not about wanting or wondering if that's going to show up, is knowing it will, and that's not even important. It's how do you show up? And that's the part that we have to focus on, right? So the shadow is not coming to punish you. When we start to talk about the shadow, I want you to think about it. The shadow is revealing more information. It's giving you more information. It's letting you know. It's letting you know that as much as you run your mouth blue, it's a lot of BS that I personally feel that I don't speak about, that I need to start speaking about. You understand? Maybe for you, it's something else. Maybe you're speaking about things you don't need to be speaking about, and you need to do the reverse. Maybe it's you showing up for people who have shown up for you that you're not showing up. Like, it can be completely different for all of us, but you all understand what I'm saying. The shadow itself is not evil. It's not something to destroy you. It is here to reveal information. Remember, shadow is information. That's it. And what becomes visible does not automatically become your identity. So even if I would have crashed out on this, that still is not that's not my identity. It may be what I did. You understand? It may be how I behaved. It may be how I express myself, but that is not the identity of who I am. You are to observe it. You are to feel it. You are to learn from it, but not automatically become it. You understand? Your intuition may speak. I want you to listen. 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 Your emotions may rise, and I want you to feel them. Your shadow may appear, and I want you to witness it. Full body, witness it. But then after you witness it, you must take action. Yes, Brittany, self-love is the new shadow work. Afterwards, ask the question, who is the one witnessing all of this? And I told you guys, it is the blue that sat back and let other people project their fears, project their problems, project their unlikes on to me and didn't say a word. Right? That's who witnessed that. That's not who responded, but that's because I've been doing the work. But that's who witnessed that. And I want you to see that because nobody is above that. It's not about being above that. That's not my identity. You understand? So, because if you can observe fear, even the person who showed up was in fear, because fear also is described or disguised as ego. In fact, the ego is drenched in fear. And so sometimes you can see somebody who is fully confident in what they're doing. There has been times in my life where I have been drenched in fear, but it came across as ego. So I don't want you to think fear is always that person scared, because that's not what fear is. Ego equals fear. So however that comes across, that is fear. And I want you to know we've been lied to about what the ego is. The ego is fear, right? So no, just because you can observe fear, know that you are more than fear. And if you observe the old identity, so if I would have just ignored it and that comment would have come, that's me in my old identity, right? If you can witness the shadow, then there's always something within you that is going to be standing in your light. And that's why I called it out. That's why I called it out. I could have very well ignored it. It's not on screen. When people come back and listen to the replay, they would have never seen the comment, nothing, but it would have impacted me. That's the difference. It would have impacted me. Nobody else would have known. Somebody else watching this video, if I wouldn't have said nothing, they would have never known that comment. Now, you all would have known, but nobody else would have known. Stay empty, delete all negative. Well, I don't know about staying empty, but you get to do it your way. You get to do it your way. So let's keep going. When you can still stand in your own light, and again, that's going to be completely different for everybody. When you can stand in your own light, that is the initiation. That is the initiation right there. That's it. So think about this eclipse. This eclipse isn't asking you to become somebody new. What it's doing, it is revealing everything you have mistaken for yourself so that you can remember who the fuck you are. That's what this eclipse is doing. It's waking you back up to you so you can remember who you are and return home back to yourself. You understand? So you can return back to yourself. That's it. So don't spend this whole weekend looking for all kinds of signs. Signs. That's right. Celebrate your flaws. Yeah, if you want to call it a flaw. I don't call it a flaw, but I get you. We're supposed to celebrate everything. We're supposed to celebrate everything. Yes. So don't do that. Don't try to predict everything that's coming. This isn't a time of prediction because we are living in the time of infinite possibilities right now. During this window of eclipse, everything is possible. You understand? Don't spend it afraid of the shadow. Don't do that. Don't do that. Just become still enough for the moment so you can notice what's going on and then begin to ask yourself, what am I finished calling myself? What am I finished calling that's connected to me, right? And then who am I willing to embody now? Because the goal isn't becoming so spiritual that everything is a sign and you're above everything and nothing don't bother you and you're just going to sit here and take it because you're spiritual. No, that's some BS. The goal is to become so clear that when the sign comes, you know the difference. You know the difference, right? Because that right there is knowing your magic. It is truly, truly knowing your magic. So yeah, that's what we got, you guys. We had a good little chat here. I thank you all for being here with me. How I cleanse after shows, I don't do any extra cleansing. When I am truly, and I'll tell you my thoughts because I get asked this question a lot. I don't believe in clearing and cleansing. I don't even sage my house anymore. I don't do any of that. Because as long as I'm staying centered and grounded in myself, that is a stronger protection than anything. You know, a long time ago, me and Brother Bobby Hemmett was having a conversation. And he told me, he said, Blue, this was kind of early of me meeting Bobby. He said, I was in the spirit world. And you know what they told me? They told me that you were protected. And they said, your protection was your pure heart in this work. And as long as you kept that, you are fully protected. I don't teach protection spells. I teach people how to raise their vibration and their energy. It doesn't mean I don't get mad. It doesn't mean I don't get upset. It doesn't mean I don't get hurt by things. All of these emotions we're supposed to experience. That's real. Not denying it. That's what the world has done. Suppress their emotions to the point where everybody is exploding. And then they tried to lock us into all of these systems of fear. So everybody felt like they needed all of this protection because of the fear. Because of the fear. When you get out of fear and you feel your own power and you realize that you are a co-creator here, meaning however you want to spin that word, you're co-creating with God, source, the universe. You're co-creating with other spiritual beings on this planet. It's not just my world here. You all live here too. So it's not about me creating a world by myself. I don't want to do that. I came here to co-create with others on the planet, which means I have a level of responsibility that was here. Oh, that's so sweet. I have a level of responsibility that is here for me, that I'm responsible for. And I'm responsible for creating. And when you keep your vibration high, trust me, it's been many of people who done tried to do spells and all kinds of things on me. I'd have been dead just merely because someone didn't like me. It doesn't work that way. And the world has expanded our consciousness so we're able to really advance ourselves a little bit further. And this is why, no disrespect to any system, why so many people are leaving religions, why so many people are not locking themselves into a lot of these ancient spiritual systems on the planet. And I'm not saying that there's not some good in these systems, because these systems have carried our ancestors for years and years and years. And for some, it is still carrying them. But all of those systems were rooted in fear. That is the base of what those systems are built on. And when you begin to start knowing yourself more, when you begin to start expanding your consciousness, because truly I don't feel we're on a spiritual journey, we're on a journey of expansion, right? When you start to expand even more, then you realize your power, and you realize your power here. It's not about controlling anything, because if I'm a co-creator, I don't need to control. It's just like if me and you had a business together and we were co-founders. I don't need to go somewhere and beg people to agree with me so that we can make changes. I'm free to make changes just like you're free to make changes here. So once I did my work to get out of fear, and I speak from a very honest place. When I say fear, I'm talking about locked into fear, like my whole life. Most of my life I lived, I was in fear. And once I worked my way out of fear, I started teaching that, helping others to get out of fear. And sometimes fear came disguised as ego, you know? So that concept of even what we think fear is a little kind of twisted. So I don't really do protection spells because I know how strong my energy is in me. It has nothing to do with the other person because you do not have dominion over me unless I give it to you. I don't give consent that way, consciously or unconsciously. And just because somebody gets upset, somebody gets angry, that doesn't make you less spiritual. You're a spiritual being. Nothing is required. You don't have to belong to a group. You don't have to call yourself anything. You are spiritual by your essence and your nature. You don't have to be initiated into that. Nobody don't have to give you anything to be that. This is just who you are. So I don't need to do anything to be spiritual. Nothing is required. That's why I don't no longer say we're on a spiritual journey. We're not on a spiritual journey. I personally feel we're on a journey of expansion. And the more we expand our mind, and humanity has come a long way in like the last 15 years. And I'd love to say that we have been a part of it. We've been a part of that expansion. A couple of years ago, it was hard to have these kind of conversations. Why so many things had to be done in person. You couldn't have these kind of deep conversations like this online. You think the trolls are coming out. Oh, the trolls ain't out. Now it's a group of people on the planet that want the old system to die, but they want portions of it to still live. And this is why I'm telling you guys about the eclipse. You can't have them, but you can't feed the old idea. You can't say this old world, we want it all to crumble down, but we want to hold on to these old systems, whether they be businesses, whether they be spiritual systems, whether they be traditions. This is why all of this is falling apart because you can't keep a part of something that was built in the world that we all pretty much know was corrupted and still want to hold on to certain parts of it. You're bringing that with you. And this is what people are having a hard time. Unfortunately, most of the people I know that operate from protection, I needed protection from them. Ain't that the damn truth? You done said a whole world, that's a whole lecture. That's a whole class right there. Absolutely. So when people are like, I just want to be, I want to protect my, what do you need all this? What are you doing that you need all of this protection from? When you are standing in your power, it will make it to the point where people will become repellent from you. I remember one time me and my daughter was driving back from Houston, and it was a time where some very unfortunate things had happened. And we were driving, and all of a sudden we seen these 3 cop cars just started getting on the interstate. Lo and behold, they were coming after us. I didn't realize they was following me because I wasn't speeding. Nothing was going wrong. And all of a sudden, pulled us over, surrounded the car, the whole 9, rolled down the window. He was yelling and screaming, "Didn't you see I was following you?" I said, "No, I didn't." "Give me your driver's license." And I want to see. I said, "I'm getting it." Gave him the driver's license and everything. "You were speeding, this and that." I said, "No, I wasn't." I said, "Can you show me where I was speeding at?" I wasn't speeding. talk to him, raise my vibration and my frequency consciously. And he gave me a warning and said, keep going. And I could see the other guys, they wanted to do something different, but they couldn't. And not necessarily because I had angels, ancestors, and guides there, although they were there, is because I got myself out of fear. I didn't go to fear. And I'm not saying that everyone who does things, but what I'm trying to tell you, we have more say for our lives here than we know. And so I'm very careful about my children, myself, loved ones, about understanding about it's a difference between being scared and you having a underlying fear in your mind. As raising a young Black male, I never let him be locked into fear. I put him more in awareness. There's a difference. I'm not going to scare you into doing the right thing or try to scare you. Remember back in the day, they had that program called Scared Straight? No, I'm not going to scare you straight. I'm going to aware you straight. I'm going to give you the awareness of knowing who you are to get you straight. And I learned that when you can do that, and that takes practice, but it's the small things, and it definitely starts with ourselves. And a lot of times, this is what's happening. When information starts to come out like this, and I probably don't have to tell you guys this, I'm sure you know it, and you start to speak this way, people around you become very uncomfortable. Most people will. They become uncomfortable. They don't want anything to do with you. And a lot of times it's not because they're a bad person or something's wrong with them. It's just because of the fear of it. And if they have built their whole life around, you need protection, you have to do this, you have to do this, the devil gonna come get you. When they realized people on the planet was no longer afraid of the devil, they started bringing aliens. They started bringing your grandmother. They started bringing your ancestors. They started telling you were cursed. Don't you see that it's like playing chess? They keep moving the boogeyman. First, the boogeyman was the devil. The boogeyman is this group of people. The boogeyman is that group of people. The boogeyman is the aliens. The boogeyman is the food. The boogeyman is the water. The boogeyman, they're shifting the fear because our consciousness is expanding that they can no longer scare us with that bullshit. I remember when people would come to me and tell me their grandmother was trying to come get them. Their mama was, their daddy. Stop it. This demon is coming to get you. This demon is coming to get you. This person's coming to get you. That person put this on you. That person put that on you. They doing all of these things. Most people are not afraid of any of that anymore. So now they're going to something a little bit more. And next, what they're going to do is they're coming after. And when I say coming after, and they, because I don't like that word, is this is just the opposing, is they're coming after people who are visible, the creators. You see, I remember back in the day when myself and a few others, we were calling ourselves creators, the gods and the goddesses, people was cringe. You're not a creator. Now the hottest occupation on planet Earth is a content creator. So they're going to come after this visibility. And so I want to say this honestly for you guys. Things are changing, and they're changing really, really fast. If you have something inside of you that you want to put out in the world and that you want to do, I want to encourage you to do it. Do it. Even though you don't have it all figured out, you don't feel like you have the right setup, you ain't got the right aesthetics, you don't feel like you look the best, whatever it is, because, it could be 100 things. I want you to do it. I want you to do it. I want you to do it now. I want you to start planning while we're in this eclipse season. Anything that you want to do, I want you to start planning it. If it's move to another country, if it's, I don't know, whatever it is, change jobs, whatever that is, change relationships, whatever it is that you want to do, I want you to dive into it, because you will see exactly where you need to lean in. And also, this thing and these portals that we are so taking for granted, and we are so blessed to be on a platform where I can talk to you and you and you. You could be all over the world. You could be in a different country. I can be in a different country. It's going to become more difficult to start getting on these platforms. It's going to become more difficult. It's going to become mandatory, but it's going to become more difficult. I told you guys the terms of agreement is changing. And even YouTube has changed the terms of agreement. That come February, they have changed what it's going to take for you. And listen at me, because I got to talk to my brothers and sisters here. Now, for the rest of y'all, class is over. If y'all free to go, if y'all want to go, but class is over. But if y'all want to hear this, y'all might want to stay for this. It used to be you had to have 4,000 watch hours and I think like 1,000 subscribers. And y'all heard that right. And 1,000 subscribers. Now they're changing it to 8,000 watch hours and 1,000 subscribers. And if you're doing shorts, you got to get some crazy thing like 2 million every 90 days, or you won't be in the partnership program. Now, this is where I slept on. So I don't want you all to make the mistake that I made. I don't care about the money. I don't care about the followers. I don't care about who watch. I don't care about YouTube. And as a result, there are people who have put up shows from my 20 plus, 19 or 18 plus years from Blog Talk, and they are making big bank every single month off of all of my old shows because I sat my dumb behind back. Ego, which was fear, saying, I don't care. I don't care if they replay my show, and told myself all these stories. Yes, it just helps get the word out. And all I care about is that people get the information. That's all I care, is that they get this knowledge. I don't care that they're taking my work that is copyrighted to me and they didn't ask for permission and they playing it and replaying it and sharing it, chopping it and screwing it and flipping it around and getting paid from it. And I'm over here scraping for beans and peas. And somebody skip upon me and say, is that Ms.Blue? I've been listening to you for years. Somewhere else. Don't be dumb like me. Don't be dumb like me, because you are worthy of receiving that. You are worthy of that. But I'm out of that. I've been out of that for a while, but I did that for years. Refused to go on YouTube. No, I don't want to go over there. No, I don't want to go on camera. No, I don't want to do this. No, I don't want to do that. And then I let people gas my head up. You the oracle. They just need to hear your voice. Meanwhile, they making about $10,000 a month off of replaying my videos, but they telling me, you the oracle. You the oracle, girl. You the oracle. Listen, so if you want to start a channel, there is no better time to do it than now. To get yourself in there. We got a couple of more months till we get to the end. Even if you say, I'm not sure what I'm going to do over there, start it. You'll figure it out. You'll find it. Maybe it's an option for you later. Quan said, no shade. That's how I thought. Ms.Blue, somebody kept posting your videos and I kept thinking, whose voice is that? And I tried to find your account. Yeah, I'm telling you guys, do it. Do it. Do it. Money is not something we need to shy from as spiritual people. That's a big lie. I wasn't shying from money. I still don't need to make my money from here. But it's not about a need. It's about energy and an exchange. And these are ways we can get in exchange. Some of y'all have so beautiful personalities. You should have a TikTok. You should have an Instagram. You should have this. Not so you could be out here trying to stand on your soapbox and prophesizing to the world if that's not what you feel called to do, but just sharing your life. Sharing. A lot of it can be you documenting your life for your children, your grandchildren, or for yourself. You know, these are the physical Akashic records on the planet. These are our records are alive. How do you think I can read Akashic records? I can read Akashic records because they are alive. These records are alive. You're going to say like me, you're going to wait for the perfect time. There is no perfect time. You got to launch and you got to do it. Now, don't get me wrong. There was so many other things that I have done. But if I had to go back and do something again, I would have came on YouTube when I wanted to. And not for the following count, but so I could have documented that in a physical way and had that representation here. So I could have had physical representation of all the things that I needed to have here. Now, granted, at that time, many of the people that I was interviewing, they weren't interested in being on camera like that. But I think if that was more of the wave, more people would have done it. I had a hard enough time trying to get them to come on my radio show because at that time they were mostly doing live lectures. And then I started with Blog Talk. And when I started bringing Brother Bobby on, that's how the others in the community found out that that was available. And everybody started jumping on the trail, which is what we're supposed to do. But somehow I think a lot of us are missing this. Some of you are so great. You have businesses, you work jobs, you have lives, you have interesting things about yourself. And this is a way that you can document this. We have got to stop saying we're the most powerful on the planet because of our consciousness and awareness, but we're the most afraid to be seen. I am odd. I am goofy. I am silly. I'm very awkward. I'm still not used to talking to the camera, but I am doing it absolutely anyway. Anyway, I'm doing it anyway. Somebody asked what happened to Brother Bobby. And I will tell you this in short. Brother Bobby was done doing his work here. He left us an archive of work. He decided that his soul required him to do something different. And that's another thing. I think it's beautiful for the people who got a chance to meet Brother Bobby on the internet now. But we've got to start celebrating and supporting people while they are active and here with us. Because now, on average, the average person, by this time that you're here, you've already had at least one or two past lives. We are reincarnating right here on the planet. And I've been doing this for 20 plus years. I don't know when I'm going to stop. I don't know. I may wake up one day and if something else brings me joy, I may do that. You understand? And the same for you. So I want you all to think of yourselves that way. There are things that you want to do. I'm a late bloomer. So if you want to know what it feels like to miss portals, miss opportunities, I can tell you about it. I'm a late bloomer. So I can tell you what it feels like to miss a whole lot of windows, whole lot of opportunities, right? So I want you to know. His lectures started hitting differently when my conscious, your lectures do, your everything's going to hit different when you expand your consciousness. It's a lot of people. I interview people, and a lot of people didn't understand what interviews. They watching old videos talking about, she don't know what she's talking about, she don't know. Girl, back then you didn't know what you was talking about. It wasn't that I didn't know what I was talking about. That's what an interview is. I'm supposed to ask you questions that I know my audience want to know. It's not about me trying to flex my knowledge onto somebody. I'm supposed to challenge you and ask you questions on what you say you know. And guess what you're supposed to do? You're supposed to run circles around my ass. That's what you're supposed to do, because that's what you love. You're supposed to have fun with that and say, that's a great question. So just like when someone asks me about protection, imagine if I couldn't answer that question, but I'm up here telling y'all, stay out of fear, stay out of fear, stay. And you don't know, you can't answer the question. Y'all would say, well, wait a minute, what's really going on? I thought Ms.Blue said stay out of fear, but somebody asked her about protection and she couldn't answer the question. No, that's not how that works. When you're interviewing somebody, it's not supposed to be a debate. I'm not here to debate you on what you say. I'm here to really ask you questions so you can elaborate. My job is to help you shine at what you say you know. You're supposed to shine at what you say you know. You know that. And it doesn't matter if the whole world is against what you said. It's whether or not you believe what you said. I don't get that. I don't get that. When people say, well, this person don't know and that person don't know. No, they know what they know. And that's who they're supposed to know. So I'm telling you guys right now, y'all better get on it. Some of y'all are sitting on your life change that you're waiting on. You're sitting on it somewhere scared because you think somebody on the internet's going to come get you. Well, the gag is, they don't need you to be on the internet if they want to come get you. They'd have been came and got you. And come get you for what? And don't you got protection? Because I do. If you come, you better pack that lunch, that dinner, and a breakfast and bring a couple of friends. And they better be close friends. Because when they see what I got, they may take off running. Okay? That's it. Y'all got to get out there. Yeah. Yeah, people believe anything now. And people are telling them. Speaking of which, I got to tell you guys something. It's 11:11. I want to say thank you. I didn't even get to talk about this, but this is what I want to tell you guys. I do have a class that's coming up called the Hit Code. And the Hit Code is a 6 weeks class where we're going to go in and we're going to dive in and you're going to learn about how to receive your intuitive hits. This is really, I say class, but it's not a class. It's an experience. And I know in the past I have taught classes and experiences. This is going to be that class where you learn the hit. When you are receiving a hit, the hit code, what does it feel like for you? Because my hit code ain't your hit code. You may receive a completely different hit code. But one of the things we're going to do in there is I'm going to give you some fundamental things and some very advanced things when it comes to ramping up and tuning into your multisensory abilities, how to use it, how to understand it, how to trust it, how to trust yourself enough, trust your body enough to know that you're getting it. So we're going to be doing a lot of activations and experiences in the Hit Code class. It's going to be starting in the month of September, around September the 17th. And I definitely want you all to know. So many of you have signed up and I'm super excited to work with you. Some of you have worked with me for many, many years. Some of you are very new to me. So it's going to be an exciting journey that we're going to be on. You can click the link in my stand store and you will be able to get that, Biblical offsprings, living karma. See, I don't believe that either. I don't believe that. I don't believe none of that. I don't believe that as much as I believe half of these so-called channels, because the Bible is a book of channels, and man has gotten a hold of it, and they have put their own story in there to make you believe these things. And here's the beautiful thing about planet Earth. If you believe something is true, then it is true for you. That's how powerful you are. You can say, damn, Ms.Blue, this is true for me, and it will guide, govern your life. It will be true for you. But that's why this realm and all realms are based on free will. It's not just the greatest will on earth, it is the greatest will everywhere. So if you subscribe to that, that's your truth. That is your truth. And there's nothing wrong with it. I'm not here to tell you you get to live it how you want to live it. But as we expand, we have more different ways to live, right? We got more different ways to live. So let me go back to the hit code. That question kind of took me because it was a good question. The other thing I want you all to know, the Akashic files are open again. And I know many of you brought the Akashic files in the past, but it is available again. I have it in my stand store. And until we get to, I want to say the 28th, it is available at a very, very special price. And then it will go back to its original price. And so if you go to the stand store, if you ever wanted to tap into the Akashic records, if you ever wanted to learn how to get into your records, if you ever wanted to know what the Akashic files were all about, I will take you in. I guide you into accessing your divine blueprint, showing you how to scribe with intention and how you can create from within. You'll get a chance to do it. It's on sale right now for $55. You can see some of the reviews from, I didn't bring them all over, but I did bring some of the reviews over from the other site. So you can see what people are saying. Life-changing work that you can begin to work with, the Akashic files. I only open them when the Akashic files are open. I want y'all to see that. Can y'all see that? Y'all see that Sphinx there? Well, I'm going to tell you what brought this on. Right before my father passed away, I was having all of these dreams about the Sphinx. Like it was just coming. I was having all of these dreams about the Sphinx. And while I was having all of these dreams about the Sphinx, I didn't know, fast forward a year later, my father, who is not from Philadelphia, would make his transition in Philadelphia. And when I was there, one of the things that I was able to go do is I was able to go into the Met Museum and see the second largest Sphinx in the Western Hemisphere, which is in the museum there. And I actually had a chance to spend some time with the Sphinx. That was something I'm very much connected to. I know many of you know I have had and led a divine priestesshood for many, many years, a group of women that I would take through this voyage and work with them and reading the Akashic records. You know, everybody reminds me of the show when Brother Panic told me that he knew that I sat over the Akashic records on the planet and was in them and able to tap in better than anyone he's ever come in contact with. And so I've been working with the Akashic records and the files for a long time. And one of the things people always ask me is, can you teach it? For a long time, I couldn't teach it because honestly, it was something that I really feel was a gift that was given to me. And really, after working with it for years and years and years, finally, I was able to figure out a way to help people recognize that they were in their Akashic files. Now, I would say anybody can get into their Akashic records. I truly know that now. Anybody can. There is certain things that you do need to have in place because there are universal laws. Just like we have physical laws here, there are universal laws that are there. Well, I guide you through there with the goddess Hathor, which was my given Kemetic name, the goddess Hathor. I guide you in. I take you in so you can see your records and you're able to write in your records. You're able to do things in your records. You're able to whatever you want to change things in your records, upgrade things in your records, look at things in your records, get a deeper understanding of your Akashic files. And not only that, I also encourage, you don't have to do that while you're in there, that you write inside the world records, something you want to see here on planet Earth, something. I even take you into the universal records. Thank you for who just purchased again. I take you into the universal records so that you can get into the universal records. Have you since her temple in Egypt? The goddess Hathor temple in Egypt? No, I have not physically been there. I've been to Egypt, but I went when I was very, very young, but I haven't been. But I am going to make that trek up there, but I haven't. I haven't been in Hathor's temple. I've been there energetically, but I haven't been there physically. Not physically, but I plan on going one day. I know there's some trips coming up too, so I'm looking into some things. And matter of fact, there was an Egyptologist, one of the main Egyptologists that's in Egypt, and a brother who was from Egypt that I met on Clubhouse, and a sister. They wanted during around C19 to do a documentary and take me on a trip, and they documented it. They want to document when I go to Egypt. They want to go with me. So, a lot of things are, the right time. I personally think I was waiting for that new museum that's built now, which is the largest one in the world, because I certainly want to go over there and see that. So there's a lot. So I want you to know, I have taken people there energetically. I've taken thousands of people energetically. We go on trips there. I've been in the temples. I've even been inside the Sphinx. I've even discovered things before they did. During the priestesshood, we did a trip and we went there. And I told all the priestess that was in the priestesshood that soon they will uncover the priestess from a past life. And it was the exact number. I want to say maybe 8 months later, they found a group of priestess that was the exact same number as the priestess that I had in my divine priestesshood. And I had already took them on a spirit quest and told them that they were priestess in a past life, and that proof would be coming to the world. Just like now, I knew the Akashic files were coming back up because they will discover the other Sphinx. Now, the other Sphinx is something that I've known about for a long time, but I don't think it's just one more Sphinx. And one of my predictions of 2026 that I did in 2025 was that Egypt would have a big discovery. And there is a big discovery coming. I think the Sphinx, the second Sphinx, is just one of it. It's going to be a whole nother discovery that they discover. But the divine priestess, I don't know if any of them are still here, but they remember when I told them. And all of a sudden, a couple of months later, they found a tomb and it was all women. And they said that these were all priestess. And it was the exact same number that we had in the divine priestesshood. And so your consciousness is not local. Quantum physics and science have been able to prove that in this life for people who need proof. Consciousness is not local. I have done many trips. We have gone to the sun. We have gone to other planets. We have gone to all kinds of places in Egypt. And even now, because the river is going to be flooding, the river is going to be rising as we go through this eclipse. The star Sirius is visible in the night sky. There's a ritual that I used to do on my channel. That's why we had the 8-8 Lionsgate portal activation, where the priestess Aset would sit inside the temple and hold the crystal, and the light from star Sirius would come down and activate that crystal. That's a ritual I used to do on the remix all the time that we did. I used to call them spirit quests. I still call them spirit quests and I still do them. I just don't do them live. Like if you're in a class with me or some of the files, the galactic files that I do, some of the transmissions and the channeling that I do, not that I don't think those things are important anymore, but I think there's a space and a place for all of those things. And they're very sacred to me because they have been life-changing for the people who have witnessed it and the people who have done that work, even people who are working with the higher self. They have told me how it's been healing and mind-blowing transformations. I recognize that I have those harmonics inside of my voice to work with. Greetings, Ms.Blue. I know you from the remix days. Oh my goodness, Northern Belle, welcome on in. Good to see you guys. So the Akashic files are open. Now, I do want to tell you, if you purchased this from back in the day, it's the same files. And I can't remember when I did these files. It's been so long ago, but it's so powerful and it still works. I want you to get it. But if you don't have it right now, I have it offered as a very special price during this portal window because I know the work that people can get. It'll be this price until August the 28th, and then it's going to go back up to the price that it is. You can go to the stand store. You can check it out. The higher self is there. Want you all to tap into that. Astro Wave 2026, CO2, H2O expansion magic ritual, as well as the Lucky Blueprint expansion pack is there as well. So it's a lot of goodies that you all who want to get into doing the work that you can get into. And I'm just excited for us in the time that we're in. But I think one of the things I want to also leave you all with is visibility. All right. Because there is going to be a big investment in making you hide yourself. You understand, of getting you into fear because they've run out of things to scare us with. So the only other person they can scare you with is you. And so there will be bots and trolls that will say and do some unthinkable things, right? We know they exist already, but they're going to amp that up. And they're going to start making movies. Watch what I'm telling you, all kinds of things to try to scare you so you could go into hiding behind the keyboard and not being visible. Because once you're visible, you can't copy that. That can't be suppressed. You understand? And it does something for you when you put yourself out there. When you authentically put yourself out there. I'm excited to work with you too. I am excited to work with you guys. I've always wanted to experience this. I got money now. I love it. I love it. I love your name, Oracle Sound Yoga. I love that. They tell you you're going to die. Yeah, they're going to tell you all kinds of things. They're going to tell you all kinds of crazy things. They're going to say all kinds of crazy things. And, and then it's going to be those people who are desperately trying to hold on to the old world. Desperately. Hey, Brother Lance. Desperately trying to hold on to the old world. And with a lot of those old world systems, it's fear. I know we love them. We love them. We love them. It's done a lot of great things. We love them. But it's fear. It's a lot of fear. Those systems, all of those systems are rooted in fear. Yeah, it's rooted in fear. And we've got to get out of fear. And when we get out of fear, then we can start to use these sacred texts as guides, not as literal gospel. I feel like these people they're offering are actors revealing information they already allow to scare those who know the truth. just like using AI to mask real. Yeah, that's a real thing too. I'm sure it's going to be a lot of, ways that this information can be spun. I'm not interested in discovering how many ways they can do it. I'm interested in helping the souls on the planet who want to call their power back, stand in their authentic light, and know that they are a creator, and to know that the shit that's here is not written in stone. That's what they want you to think. They want you to think there's nothing you can do about it. But by you holding a frequency, if you can stand in your authentic frequency, guess what? Guess what? It shuts down their program. But if you can't stand in your authentic frequency, they don't know what to do with you. They don't know what to do with people who are consciously aware, but they're not scared of technology. Consciously aware, and they're not afraid to speak up and speak out. Consciously aware, and they're not afraid to be visible. They don't know what to do with that. See, because just if we go back a couple of decades, we know that those who were visible and spoke up, they took them out. Or at least that's what they wanted you to believe. But what I know is that no soul leaves before their time. See, it's a circle jerk. Nobody leaves before their time, and we choose how we're going to leave. We choose how we're going to leave, right? But they want you to think you ain't got no say-so on that. That's what they want. They want to tell you all these stories, and they want to show you things. And so what happens is you start to give consent. You believe it. And once you believe something, you've given your consent to it. When you say, yeah, that's your consent. You just gave your power away. Yeah. So I want to tell y'all that. And did I show y'all my juicy, gorgeous? This is a citrine. This is a tiger's eye. And this is an iron pyrite. This is actually made in Africa. I can tell you because this is from Otter Spirit. Now I'm going to do something official on this. I'm just telling you guys because I'm excited. And they sent this to me, but I do have my own sets that I have. I love this. The link is in the bio. You do get to get a definition. You do get to get a discount as well. Let me tell y'all while I'm telling you about this, because everybody knows if you're an OG, thank you guys. You know how much I love crystals. I love crystals. But what I have found over the years, and you all tell me, a lot of things that we're calling crystals, they're not. They're like our food. They're fabricated. So I did a lot of work in the beginning. There used to be a crystal company that's still out there that's very good, where you can buy raw crystals from, because it became hard to tell the source of where these crystals are coming from. So what I like about Otter Spirit is because they're a small company and their crystals have a grading. They've been authenticated, and if you know about authentication, this pyrite is a AAA grade of authentication. And actually, this pyrite came from China. It came out of the mountains of China, because when you have crystals that are authenticated, they have to trace it back to the source. This is what they're going to start doing for our food. They're going to be able to tag the farmer, who worked on it, who picked it, what processing place it went to. Just like when they build certain vehicles, like Mercedes-Benz, when they build an AMG, the person who worked on, put that engine together, their signature is on that engine. You can look in any Mercedes AMG and you will see the person who built that car. So if something goes wrong, they can take it back to the source. If something happens, you have the source, you know that this is an authenticated crystal, this pyrite, and it's so gorgeous. And one thing I notice, and I don't promote things that I don't believe in, that's just me. I could feel the difference when I put it on. I could feel the energy. I know what pyrite, iron pyrite feels like. It's one of my favorite crystals. And I could feel the energy from this crystal. This citrine crystal, I think this one came from Colombia. I could be wrong, but it'll tell you on the website. Look how juicy this citrine is. By the way, this pack that I have here, it's called the Abundance Pack. And you can literally get all three. This tiger's eye, oh my goodness. Look at that. Have you ever seen a more juicy, gorgeous, beautiful tiger's eye? Look at that. And that's the whole stack. This is called the Abundance Stack. And they come in these beautiful packages like this. Each one comes with a card. And they come with a little pouch, a little gifting pouch to put them in. And they also donate to the Otters in California. And so the link is in my bio if any of you are interested. And over the years, you know, Soul Family has sent me some beautiful, powerful crystals. And, you know, I went to a few places, but I'm not always able to travel to those places to get the crystals I want. And so I stopped buying them because when I would buy the jewelry, it just didn't give me the same feel, you know, or I had to end up paying some bucks for them, some big bank. You understand? This, I said, oh, I fell in love and they're for a good cause. So I absolutely love it. So you guys check them out. They're down in the description show. I'll do a big in-depth thing on it sometime, but I wanted to offer that to you guys. Just click the link there. And no, they're not sponsoring this video, but I do get I get some money that I can get some, I can buy me a bottle of water with it if you purchase. So I absolutely love it. I have another pack that they have called Self-Love, and it is gorgeous. You guys will see it, but they're really, really nice. And these come in all different sizes. I have the small ones. I think you guys see me wearing them. This is the regular. And, you know, for those of us who have a larger stature, or for the brothers, they have large. They sell necklaces. They sell spears. You can get all of that from their site. What I really love is that their crystals have been authenticated. And in the world where this has become popular, you know, back in the day, you could just go to the gem shows. You could go to Las Vegas and go to the gemstones and buy you tons of crystals and everybody could have it. But over the years, so many mines have closed down. And so what happened is they started to artificially make these gemstones. And I'm not saying that doesn't have a value too, but, you know, it's like somebody telling you they're going to buy you a diamond, you know, and you find out that it's a piece of glass, like, and I'm talking about like a piece of glass like you buy at the dollar store. You're going to be a little disappointed. It's not going to give you the same resonance that a real diamond is going to give you. And so this is the difference when you get crystals, and all of their gemstones are either A, double A, or triple A, which, if you know anything about the GIA, which is the organization that authenticates things, especially they're more stricter on gemstones than anything. So you have to trace them back to your source, and it has to be a valuable source. Can't be that you brought it from somebody off the side of the road or somebody who was selling it somewhere else that you don't know where you got that from, like what part of the world it came from. This is this, you know, this is this. This is this. Yeah. So I wanted to share that with you. I know sometimes you guys ask me about different things, and so I'm going to find a way to share it. I buy uncut. Yeah, and make organites. Really? For yourself and your family. You might want to take that to another level. You might want to make that for some other people. especially if you're buying some good. I always love a good, love it. These are the things, you guys. These are the things. You could start a YouTube channel if you don't have one, showing people you making it. But these are all the things I want us to start thinking about and making sure that we're not sleeping on ourselves. We're not sleeping on ourselves. Things are changing, and we need to be right in the midst of the change, right? Of the evolution, not towards foolishness, but towards what we want to evolve ourselves towards. So that is going to do it for me. I love you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out. Please subscribe. If you're a new subscriber, please let me know in the comments section. And, if you're still here towards the end, one of the things I want you to put, what are we going to put? What symbol are we going to use at the end if you're still here towards the end? Hey, Mega Miss Little. I wore your shirt yesterday that you gave me from Dubai. I had about 50 people stop me. They was like, "Ooh," and this one man was doing like this. I said, "Sir, no, sir, don't touch." He talking about, "Oh, I was just, no, sir. No, sir." I said I was going to have to email you and tell you, yeah, they was all on your girl with that blue shirt. It was 101 degrees. You're welcome, Papa Flynn. Oh, you're new here. Well, welcome here. Is it Oh, I'm going to have to say your name. I don't want to say it wrong. Cassandra? Oh, we got a lot of new subscribers. Thank you, guys. How beautiful. It's so good to have you guys here. Yeah, you're a new subscriber. Welcome on in. Welcome on in. If you guys are in Philadelphia, you have to go see the Sphinx. One day I'll tell you the story. After I went to go see the Sphinx, they shut it down for like a whole year and a half. Shut it down. Because I went up in there and me and the Sphinx was by ourselves, and she is gorgeous. She's pink. Baby, she's pink. She's huge. She's the largest Sphinx outside of Egypt. So they think. But she the largest one outside of Egypt. And she is in Philadelphia. Yeah, Pennsylvania. You could go over to the museum and see her. She is there. Your old channel or subscribers got lost in the algorithm, unfortunately. Well, this is the old channel. I just changed the name. We just updated the frequency. But yes, they did unsubscribe people as well. They just unsubscribe people. Hey, New Diamond. We love you, Ms.Blue. I got to run this one back. Yes, run it back. And by the way, this is what I want to tell you guys. Everybody who attended the 8/8 Lionsgate activation, emails were sent out. Gifts were sent out. The sister D-Ray was in here earlier. Jennifer is in here. New Diamond is in here. I don't think the rest are in here, but all of the gifts are there. Everyone who attended and registered got a gift. If you registered, you got a gift. Now, I want to tell some of y'all something, because some of y'all thought y'all was cute. I don't know who y'all are. I don't know where y'all came from, but y'all put some email addresses, and then I don't know what y'all did with them. Y'all got rid of them. I don't know if y'all purposely put the wrong email address in there. I don't know what y'all did. I don't know what y'all did, but I just want to let y'all know that the gifts have been sent out. Check your email, check your spam. Where in Philadelphia? It's at the Penn State Museum. Here go one of my gifts I got from there. From one of the angels working in the museum. His name is what was his name? Gabriel? I think his name was Gabriel. And he took me through the back. Behind the bookstore, there's a secret passageway behind the bookstore. Thank you. A secret passageway in the Penn Museum. And you can walk behind the bookstore and it'll take you into other parts of the museum. Yeah, it's such a cool thing. I went and I was the only one in there, dropped off early in the morning. It's at Penn State Penn Museum. You can go right up in there and you can see the Sphinx. At one time they had it closed down. After I went to visit the Sphinx, they closed it down for like a whole year. I was telling everybody I was so excited and they said we shutting it down. Mhm. Yeah, everybody has a gift because the gift that I gave out, which was an activation gift for the workshop, I gave it to everybody. I gave my gift to everyone. D Ray and the sister D Ray and the brother Dream gave a gift out to everyone, a big gift, like a big gift. And yeah, and then everybody got some, all the gifts were incredible. Listen, I almost wanted to say, can I get on the list? Because they have beautiful gifts and it was such an amazing event. And you guys, thank you so much for your feedback of emailing, telling me how much you love the event. And it was such a wonderful thing. We will be doing more things. And I'm so glad all of the visionaries, they came, they brought it and did it in such an incredible way. So yeah, so I'm forever grateful. But listen, you guys, I gotta go. I gotta go. I gotta go. I gotta go. We've been here almost 3 hours, 30 minutes. I'm glad you found me again. You guys don't forget to like, subscribe, share, pass it on. I want to say thank you to everybody for the super chat donations. Don't forget, give your girl a like, a subscribe. Make sure you're still subscribed because, you know, they do a little tricky thing. And then I want you all to think about what I said. Think about during this eclipse season. Yes, it is about what we're going to let go of and what we're going to stop feeding, but it's also about what we're going to decide to start doing. And I know you guys will come from inside of yourself first, and then you're going to start taking action out in the world. And so I will see you all back here. I love you all so much. Oracle kisses. Peace and love, soul family. Peace and love, child. Oh, I got to do a thumbnail real quick. Or YouTube's going to have your girl looking crazy. I think I need to put on a little lip gloss and I need to do a thumbnail. I need to do a thumbnail. You're going to go check your email in a few? Yeah, check your email in a few. Do that. And thank you guys for those of you who are signing up for the hit code. And for those of you who are purchasing the Akashic files, you're going to have some big fun with that. I would recommend that you listen first. All you do is just listen. Okay, we're going to do the thumbnail. Hey, Priestess Trin. Okay, I think that's good enough. Hopefully. All right. Peace and love. Ciao. Oh, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it and get to acknowledge everybody in the building. But I love you all so much. Peace and love.